There we go. Alright, what's going on, everybody? Hello, hello, welcome. Welcome to yet another stream here. Man. Girls. I'm not gonna get into detail of what happened today at work, but I'm just gonna say, today really did, like, further my, my uninterest, my ill preference of girls. And I'm not talking about women. I'm not talking about ladies. I'm talking about girls. Alright? But like I said, I'm not gonna get into it because if I talk about it, we'll be here for a while, you know. But anyways, I hope your guys' day went better than mine, at least. How are we doing tonight? I hope we're doing good. Okay. Well, I'm not really sure if anybody's going to be tuning in to today's stream, but we're just going to go ahead and get started, alright? So, let me just unhide this. See Phil's fucking stupid face. I want to start off with a video that I saw the other day. It was a YouTube short, and it's really fucking stupid, to be honest with you. So let me see if I can scroll down and find it. This one. Okay. Alright. So for context, okay, this girl basically goes on a rant about the summer skins that are in Overwatch currently, and how they're being labeled as quote-unquote gooner bait, and, you know, Blizzard are doing it because, oh, they need to, like, appeal to gamers because they're losing players to Marvel Rivals or whatever, right? They gotta keep up with Rivals. And she just goes off, but it's not good. It's not a good argument. It's not good at all what she says. Let's just get into it here.
If you look at the
let me see here. Can I increase the volume on this? Oh, here it is. I've never used okay, let me know if it's a little low on my end. I'll just raise my volume, but I'll increase the volume here. All right, let me know if it's either volume's too low or too high.
if you look at these summer skins and think Goonabait, you actually can't view women as anything else other than just a sexual object, because it's literally just a swimsuit.
It's just a swimsuit, guys. It's just a swimsuit, you know? It's literally just a swimsuit. Alright. Now, I'm gonna say it, okay? I'm gonna say the quiet part out loud, okay? You can label me whatever at this point, but I'm just gonna lay it down to you, okay? Generally speaking, okay, between both sexes, women tend to have more attractive attire. They do. They do. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there are plenty of like outfits and styles of clothing that men can wear, and it can come off as attractive. But I think it's more so of, like, you know, the build of the person. You know, it has to be like the male's physique that complements the attire. Whereas with women, obviously, you know, physique also accounts to it as well, but just by design alone of the clothing, it's intended, you know, to have some kind of, like, appeal that that men's clothing can't necessarily do by design, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm not sure entirely like how to word it, but if you know, you know, right? But yeah, guys, it's just a swimsuit. It's literally just a swimsuit. How are you calling this gooner bait? I mean, just a bunch of gals showing off some skin, you know? Like, they're just in bikinis or whatever. Like, oh, how could you call that gooner bait? It's just, they're just in swimsuits, guys. It's literally just swimsuits. You know, these definitely unattractive female characters, you know? It's just a swimsuit. I wonder what she thinks about guys in Speedos. They're just swimsuits, you know? They're just swimsuits.
The pose? The fuck you mean the pose? She's just stood there.
She's just standing there. She's just standing there, guys. Like, what's she doing? She's just standing there, like, like, where am I at? Where am I at? Where am I at? Where? Pull me up. Pull me up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Where am I? Where am I? No, not this one. Here we are. Here we are. Okay. All right. Give me a moment. See, guys, I'm just standing here. I'm just standing here, guys. Like, I'm just standing there, you know? Like, I'm definitely not like articulating my hips or my, you know, my arms, you know, tilting down my head a certain way, you know, to appeal to, you know, the player, right? Like, I'm just standing there. I'm just stiff as a board. I'm a statue, guys. I'm just a statue. I'm just literally standing there, minding my business. Yeah. Just standing there. Oh man. Classic. Classic. Let me go down for a moment. Okay. I might be a little too tall. I might need to shrink down some more, to be honest. Oh shoot. Oh shoot, where am I? Okay. Alright, this should be good. Yeah. Raise myself a little bit higher. Alright. Yeah, I'm just standing there, guys. Like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just not doing anything.
End of the highlight intro? What? I'm sorry, them lying down on a inflatable in a pool?
Ooh.
They're just lying down. What the fuck is wrong with that?
They're just lying down.
Like what? On my...
They're just lying down, guys. They're just lying down. Like look at that. Just lying down like a plank. Like a plank of wood, you know? Lying down like a brick on a brick wall, you know? Being slathered with cement, only for another brick to just be laid down flat on top of me. You know? Definitely not arching myself up in any certain way, you know? Not, you know, exposing myself in a certain way, you know? Just lying down. I'm just lying down, guys. You know? I'm just lying down. Like, yeah, you know, like, I could be just walking down the neighborhood in my underwear, you know, with nothing on but my underwear. But I'm just walking. I'm literally just walking. You know? I could be walking down the street one day, and on my shirt it could just say, I hate insert certain group, right? Insert certain group of people. And, you know, I might get some eyes here and there, but overall, I'm just walking. I'm just minding my own business. What's wrong with that, guys? What's wrong with that?
Back? What? Where? How else do you lie down?
How do you lie down?
What do you mean?
You're on your
Oh,
back.
come on. Look at the spine.
Look at that.
Sorry, she's leaned up a bit. What do you mean the spine. I'm sorry, you're looking at a female character's spine and you're calling that Guna bait. You're comparing these new skins to the old ones, saying that they're doing something to try and appeal to what Marvel Rivals is doing and do Guna bait, as if this has not existed in the game for ages. Female characters are...
Now look, she obviously has an issue with this, being like, oh my god, why are you guys sexualizing these female characters, you know, they're just in swimsuits, yada yada yada. And then you turn around and you're just like, well, they're just you guys think they're trying to appeal to Marvel Rivals, but they've had this stuff in the game since day one, yada yada yada. And I don't think that really helps your case here. Like, to say that somebody did something first before another thing came along and made it more, like, apparent, I don't really know if that really helps your case here, girl. I don't know who you are, and I don't really care, but you really got to think about how you make your argument. I mean, yeah, I mean, Karl Marx, you know, he pioneered the concept of socialism first, right? And therefore, you know, even though Nazi Germany and the USSR, you know, they promoted communism, you know, Marx, he did it first, man. He was the one who thought of how we should lead a socialist society. That doesn't really make it better, right? If you're wanting to, like, argue that, you know, like, oh, such and such country, you know, like, they have this, but it's not that bad. Like, that's not the case. When this thing did it first, that doesn't really help you. I'm sorry, but you lost me here, girl. You did.
Are allowed to exist with swimsuits. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing sexualized about that. If you are imagining
Nothing
that as something
sexualized.
sexualized, that's on you.
It's on you, guys. It's literally, it's your fault for thinking of something lewd with these outfits. Yes. Yes. How you know, she's right. She's absolutely right, guys. Like, all, you know, the exposed bare skin, you know, the exposed breasts, bare feet, you know, maybe a little bit of butt exposure, you know, like the thighs. Oh yes, it's our fault for thinking that. It's our fault for thinking that. Even though it's just right there in front of us, and it's just easy to just have that kind of thought placed in our head. And I get it, you know, I like, don't get me wrong, like, it's summer, you know. Of course you're gonna see more people, like, show off more skin, right? But it's not our fault for thinking that, you know, that these are, like, sexy. And what's wrong for thinking that way, by the way? Don't you want to have sexy characters? Don't you want to have, like, characters that look appealing, that make you not only want to, like, okay, like, obviously, like, you're gonna have, you know, the gooners, you know, like, fantasize about them, sure. But at the same time, you want people to play these characters, you know? Like, if Spider-Man, like, think of it this way. If in Marvel Rivals, instead of Spider-Man having, like, an iconic, like, red and blue outfit with the spider on his chest, And his default skin was just, I don't know, him in a hoodie or like some office clothes attire, right? Just this generic dude. I don't think anybody would pick him for just how he looks. You know? You need to have some cool looking characters, you know? And if they happen to look sexy, that's a plus. If they look hot, that's great. What's wrong with that? I wonder what her thoughts are on Concord. These are the kind of people who would defend Concord, who actually thought the characters in Concord actually looked good. These are the kind of people who want video game characters to resemble actual people in reality. No kind of escapism, you know, no kind of, you know, shift away from how people actually look, no sort of original, cool art styles or whatever. They just want to see themselves actually in the game. It's these people right here that are dragging us down.
It is okay to critique Blizzard. I'm not saying that. But the issue is, you're not critiquing Blizzard here. You are taking female characters and assuming that it's Guna.
Assuming. You're taking female characters and you're assuming. Girl, shut up. Shut up. Anyways, we're taking female characters and what? And we're Guna baiting them?
Whenever you go to the pool or the beach on a holiday, do you look at the women and say, oh, they're just doing this for Guna bait?
Maybe. You know what? In today's society, you know what? Even back then, even when swimsuits were becoming more of a fad, of a trend, like in the mid to roughly late 20th century, I would say they did it for attraction or for attention. At least a certain percentage, and definitely that percentage has grown for sure over the years. I'm sure of it. You know, you look at today's society. But more likely than not, yeah. Yeah. More likely than not, they are.
I'd like to think you don't. If you were trying to catch a tan at the beach on an inflatable, do you wear a fucking puffer coat and a pair of jeans?
Yes.
Let's move on from this subject before we get too heated. No, I will stay on this subject because this is a real thing that affects women in real life. I know that these are video game characters, but if you are looking at a woman who's wearing a swimsuit, video game character or not, and you are calling it Guna bait, that is an issue and it's something that affects me and other women on a daily.
And there we have it. This thing is happening in fiction, and so it is affecting me as an individual, as well as so many other people. It's hurtful and disrespectful, even though it's just a video game. It affects me as a person. Why, yes. Even though it's a video game, if I just play Call of Duty and run around and shoot people, you know, kill people in order to get points, I must see human beings as nothing more than walking meat sacks that I can just, you know, whimsically kill. You know? Even though it's a video game, you know? Whenever I play Grand Theft Auto and I go ahead and run people over with my car, run the NPCs over with my car, I must think of nothing more than human beings as just things to run over. Just these meat sacks to run over. with the hood of my car. How about that? How about that? Because if I take that argument, if I'm taking this argument right here and word it the same way but with a different game, like you see what I'm trying to get at? Like, it's not good. It's not a good argument. Like, just because I think of Widowmaker, Tracer, Diva, um, May, you know, as like attractive, Juno, sure, you know, as like these attractive gals, you know, and there's several like R34 artwork of them. As much as of that is like appealing in some way, and you know, for the most of us, we have the emotional maturity to, you know like how to actually like treat people in reality versus fictional fucking characters. But just because we view fiction in that certain way, in that lewd aspect, it doesn't mean we're going to apply that to reality, because that's just not how it works. Video games are meant as a means of escapism, to behave and do things that we cannot do in reality, that we wouldn't get away with in reality. Bit of a double-edged sword. I mean, it's for, you know, you can behave good, you can behave bad in a game, but no matter what, I mean, you can feel free to like take away like anything that you learn or get out of a game or anything out of fiction. You can apply that to reality. Like, if whatever you think, go ahead, you know, and whatever results may come, you know, like I hope you're making good choices at the end of the day. But you know, you feel free to like um to learn what'll happen, you know. You can just fuck around and find out. But you know, let's just get back to the reality, like get back to the facts. Nobody is going to objectify women because, oh, Vendetta is hot with her summer skin, right? Or Anyan is just as cute as a button in that swimsuit. Anyways, what else does she do? Oh yeah, there's something stupid at the end she does.
I'm going to do exactly what they're doing in the skin, and I want you to tell me if I'm sexualizing myself right now. Come on now.
Can we get like a replay on that? Can we get a replay? No, at first I was going to say that, you know, she probably just isn't aware of what's on the screen. You know, like it's just not clicking for her. That's why she's just so enraged by all of this. But it's up to this point where I realize no, she knows what she's doing. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's downplaying what's on screen in order to make her argument valid. You know, to make it seem like, oh, like everybody who's objectifying these video game characters, okay, makes an issue for women in society, when that is simply not the case. And it's this right here, when she's not even laying down the same way as Onron. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? It's so embarrassing. It's so... I don't know, guys. Anyways, I wanted to watch that because that right there just... Yeah, it just grinded my gears a whole lot. Okay, so where is, oh, there's a new episode. Okay. Um, where's my watch later? Here it is. Okay. Y'all can ignore that. Oh, I needed to see the playlist, but this is the first video we'll watch.
It took me 8 months to finish this Gundam. This picture is from November 2025.
I can't
That's
see
when
shit.
I started building this high-grade, high-new Gundam. And looking at it now, you can tell I'd already started painting some parts as I assembled them. So it wasn't
I would like to
exactly the
pause,
complexity
please.
of the kit that took me 8 months. It was something else entirely.
Oh
And
my
I think
God.
if you've ever picked up a hobby, put it down and then struggle for weeks or months to pick it back up again, you relate.
Thank you. Thank you. God. You know, this is a sign where I think I'm in need of a new laptop. I am. I've had this computer since when? About this Mac. When have I had this? Oh no, not iMac. I wanted to look at I want to look at my laptop. I'm pretty sure I got this in 2018. That seems about right. So that's like 8 years, man. And I've had my Mac for nearly 6 years. And it's just barely now gotten like enough of the updates into the software where I can do like VTubing and all of that. Isn't that ridiculous? Oh, and phone mirroring too. Like, I got my Mac literally 1 year before the Apple M1 chip came out. Like, with the Silicon M1 chip, it's just leagues ahead of what I have right now. And it's just barely gotten to the point where it can do what the M1 was able to do back in 2021. It's crazy. But anyways, so it took this person 8 months to build a high grade, high new, apparently. And this talks about burnout, essentially. So let's see what we got here.
It took me 8 months to finish this Gundam. This picture is from November 2025. That's when I started building this high-grade
November 2025.
And looking at it now, you can tell I'd already started painting.
I was building the...
So it wasn't exactly...
Let me think. I was building... I think it was the Barbados Lupus and the... what else was there? The Calibarn in November of 2025. Man.
Exactly the complexity of the kit that took me 8 months. It was something else entirely. And I think if you've ever picked up a hobby, put it down and then struggle for weeks or months to pick it back up again, you relate to this. Here's the thing about the hobbies we love. We don't actually stop loving them. What happens is your brain does a quite cost calculation. Getting back into the flow of this thing is going to take more effort than just doing something else.
See, he does like panel lining and all that kind of stuff. I hardly even do that with my kits. I just build it straight out of the box. And then if I want to like do anything like apply top coats or shit, even like a little bit of panel lining, I'll do that. It took me I mean, obviously the real grade Wing Zero EW that I painted, that took me about like 2.5 weeks to make. But that was just a paint job. Anyways, but yeah, I understand what he's talking about with the video games, like picking that back up after a long time and just
that's exactly what happened to me.
Getting burnt out.
Back into Gunplay about 6 months before this kit since childhood. I was finally learning the basics, removing nump marks
Ooh.
and applying stickers as precisely as I could. And for the first time actually painting instead of just snapping pieces together like I did as a kid. I was in the flow state.
The
fully
flow
locked in.
state.
Right before this kid, I built
In
this
the
really great
zone.
Endless Waltz Wing Gundam.
Locked
Every
in.
day after work for a few hours for 3 weeks straight.
Man,
I
I would actually like... Okay, I've been kind of on the fence of doing this, but I'm kind of interested in building the Wing Gundam. You know? Like a real grade Wing Gundam. Either like the TV version or the EW version. I think it's cool. It's grown on me. It's grown on me. I think since I watched the anime.
On this kit as well. And then one day I just stopped touching it for 5 months. Nothing dramatic actually happened. Work was tiring. And the initial dopamine for the Gundam universe wore off. All because a new shiny toy showed up. I got into Digimon for a while at that time.
Ooh, okay.
Due to the release of Digimon Story.
I have a viewer who's interested in
It's like
Digimon.
some part of me was rediscovering everything I loved as a kid all over again. One obsession at a time. But here's what's strange. Although I haven't been building the kit for a few months, I couldn't actually let it go and it kept nagging at me. The reason we avoid picking these things back up isn't because we lack time, it's because of cognitive friction. Your brain knows exactly how heavy the cognitive load is going to be just to figure out...
I can't find where, I guess it doesn't have... Or actually, you know what, here. Let me see if there's an autoplay feature that's on. Let's see here. No, there's no, it just keeps going. Damn, okay.
Where you left off. You have to remember your work process.
That sucks. I wish there was, like, once a video ends on a playlist, it ends, it doesn't go directly to the next one.
Imagine your brain is like a browser opening thousands of tabs and refusing to close them. Well, obviously that would make my brain processing slow down. Starting this YouTube channel is actually what gave me the push to finally reopen this tab and try to close it. The channel was originally supposed to be a build channel, until I realized nobody wants to watch somebody just build in silence unless the production was amazing, which mine clearly wasn't. But the idea for this video stuck, and that was enough to pull me back to the desk. Growing up, I built Gunpla kits like Lego, fast, careless, just to get it done. Last year was the first time I actually felt mature enough to treat this hobby properly. And I think that history matters because I was raised to follow instructions exactly, which made me really fast at snapping pieces together, but gave me zero instinct for making something my own. So when I got back into this kit, when doing the few tanks and the weapons, I've hit a wall. Some parts just weren't turning out the way I pictured them. They are not objectively bad, just not matching the reference image in the instruction manual. I started watching some painting tutorials. Sure, they were somewhat helpful, but mostly what I absorbed wasn't technique. It was just a massive wave of insecurity about how much better everyone else was. And the idea of anyone seeing my work got genuinely scary. So I told myself I needed better tools.
I never thought of it that way. I thought it was just like how people paint.
I never did. And 3 months ago, I just
What's their style?
Excuse of letting the paint dry to walk away. And sadly, that ended up to be a huge mistake. Because I was midway doing the few tank, I've lost the tip of it and it's just gone in the final kit. A sore reminder that I yet again left the task midway.
I hate that. I hate when that happens. You're missing a piece. Look at that. Look at that. That's a tragedy right there. I'm gonna let you guys in on something. When I built the real grade Epion, okay, I thought I had snapped every piece out of it, okay, off the runners. And then when I came across videos with the real grade Epion included, I noticed that it had an open hand. And I was like, huh, I don't remember there being an open hand for the Epion. And I looked around to see if I had the hand. I didn't. I didn't have the hand. I went to check the box. I cut the hand out. And it's even in the instructions. It comes with an open hand. And now I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't know. I don't even know if I have the hand. It could have fell somewhere. It could have... I don't know. I may have had it and I just put it somewhere and left it and forgot about it. I have no idea, but yeah. That kind of keeps me up at night, even to this day. I built the Epion last year, actually. Oh my god. It's been a year since I've built the Epion. Oh my god. Like, okay, so I started with the entry grade, right? I started with the entry grade RX-78. Then there was, let's see, high grade. I had a few high grades. The Rising Freedom, the Strike Freedom, the Aerial Rebuild, and then I built the Goof Custom. I built 4 high grades before building my first real grade. Wow, I am such a G. That is dope. That's actually pretty dope.
Dope, best, and super.
Yeah. Man. Anyways, yeah, this right here is just nightmare. Losing a piece.
Gone in the final kit. A sore reminder that I've yet again left the task midway. Comparison really is the thief of joy, but I wasn't even chasing perfectionism exactly. It was that I'd set a standard for myself that had nothing to do with enjoying the hobby anymore. So what actually changed? The same motivation aspect.
That's a gnarly beam saber.
I just wanted to finish this video. I delayed it so many times chasing other easier videos that finishing this kit in this video had become a colossal task that is basically eating me up every day. So I finally sat back down to finish the last parts, the shield and the bazooka. And I remembered I'd already tried painting the beam rifle once and hated the result just because it didn't look pristine. But this time something clicked.
Gave it a camo.
People intentionally weather their kits. They add battle damage and imperfections on purpose.
Yeah.
I realized I'm probably the only person who's ever going to
Makes it dynamic
enough to notice the flaws anyway. So why was I building it like it needed to survive a photo shoot for a magazine? There's this Japanese aesthetic philosophy called wabi-sabi.
Wabi-sabi. Okay, Bobby.
And instead of trying to perfectly fill in the bazooka with paint like a bucket tool in MS Paint,
Yeah.
I picked up a brush and let my paint tend to be a little messy on purpose.
Yeah, there you go.
With the shield, I actually got some
Yeah.
paint on the edge by accident, and instead of
It's like the
panicking,
Liberty Bell.
I leaned into it and attempted
Or
to
the mole on the side of
It's not
Cindy
professional,
Crawford's
it's my own
face.
work, and I'm proud of it because I remembered how much I actually enjoyed the process and I finally finished this project. RIP to the tip of this view tank, you will be missed. I'm still hesitant to weather the Gundam itself, but that's a project for another day. This is just my personal experience building this Gundam. But if you've ever let a hobby sit half finished because you were scared it wouldn't be good enough, I
Vim.
think the lesson's the same one I had to learn.
Hello.
The second you let go of the standard you invented for yourself, you actually finish.
What's going on, Doro?
If you're still watching this, consider this your sign to finally blow the dust off that project you've been avoiding. Let me know
Hope you're doing
in the
well.
comments below what you're going to finish this week, and I shall see you in the next one.
I'm gonna finish I don't know, work for this week, and then I'm going on my trip with my family. Just watching while on break on work, or at work, huh? That's good. Well, glad you tuned in, at least. I mean, I'm not really doing much as well. I'm just watching some videos here. It's been a while since I've done like a React session on stream, so I figured this would be like, you know, break things up a bit. We've been playing Persona 4 Golden a whole lot lately, but this is kind of personal. Kenpo Karate here. Sophisticated Basics. I was at Hobby Lobby the other day, and I just wanted to take a stroll there because I'm kind of saving up money right now. I didn't want to buy any kits, but I just wanted to like browse around, you know, do some window shopping. And I hadn't been at Hobby Lobby in a while. I've been going to another hobby shop that's in my town, but I just wanted to see what was going on over there. And I don't know what it was, but their inventory was just straight gas. Like they had the real grade high new Gundam. They did. I've never seen it in person. I've never seen the box. And I was like, no. Like, you can't do this to me. And then they had the Master Grade Verka Wing Zero EW. Oh, man. Oh, man. They even had the real grade Zeta, which is regarded as like one of the worst kits in Gunpla, but I've just never seen it in person. But I was like, man, they had the Master Grade Death Scythe from Endless Waltz too. I almost decided to get that, but I was like, dude, I don't know. The Zeta and the Senju are the best. You know, let me tell you this, Vim. Torturing yourself. So I've heard. I'll tell you, I have one person who's told me that the real grade Zeta isn't actually that bad. And I'm kind of like wondering like if they're capping or what. But I really feel like the Zeta is one of those kits that could truly test like your abilities and skills of just building Gunpla. You know? Like, do you have the patience, the commitment to withstand a kit like that? As long as you don't transform it. So I've heard. Oh yeah, I wanted to play you a clip here. Is it possible for me to open links on this tab? Let me see. Yes, it is. Okay, or on this window. Because I got this on my laptop here, and it is pretty slow. Yeah, I've had this laptop since 2018, so it's been a while. Hainu's still the king of RG. Oh yeah. Yeah, man. I mean that's definitely on the bucket list. Let me see if I can find the clip. This one. Vim. What? Vim.
What?
Vim.
What? What?
That's what I think whenever I see your name. It's the that emphasizes it. Vim. What? Anyways. Let's see here. What else can we read? Or watch, not read. Let's do this one. Yeah. Okay, this is probably a good running point, because we could probably watch some of these videos back to back. Pokemon isn't fun anymore because of scalpers. I've said it once and I'll say it again.
Welcome back. Why is Ash from Pokemon
I'm so glad I
famous?
never got
Has it
into
been, like,
Pokemon
30 years?
as a kid.
Ah, Pokemon. A 90s kid's favorite reminder of the good old days, with not a smartphone in sight. All we had to play with were Game Boys and the outside. Simpler times when people were doing things for the love of the game. Feels like it was only yesterday
Right.
when I got gifted Pokemon Blue for my birthday, leading to my dad buying me my first Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh starter decks at a 7-Eleven. Did I know anything about
At a
collecting or
7-Eleven.
playing the actual
Wow.
card game? Probably not. I was a child with a brain that wasn't done cooking yet. Wouldn't be surprised.
Those
if
sound like
all I
better
did was
days.
admire the cool Charmander art and chew on the cards for fun. So, what are kids chewing on these days?
Nidos?
Have you guys ever wanted to eat a Nito? Well, I have. Let's eat it.
Girl, get...
Oh.
When you come home to your dog eating your Labubu, so now it's a Lafufu. Oh my god. You know, I'm so glad that my interests are so niche. 'Cause, like... I just don't get it. Nidos, Labubu, dumplings, and Pokemon cards now. Like, there used to be a time, alright? Like, I remember my sister and my cousins being into Pokemon, like, back in the day. Right? Like, they weren't, like, avid collectors, but they enjoyed the TV shows. Right? Nowadays, it's like, do people even know, like, what Pokemon is even about? Besides catching and battling monsters. You know? My hobby started with Pokemon, switched to Gundam when I can't buy any more. Oh man. For me, it was a Lego, which was actually a smooth transition because, you know, all the building. Still was building plastic. Got a build on the Discord? Ooh. Let's take a look. Let's take a look here. Let's see. My screen might be stretched out a bit. Yeah. Can I, yeah, okay. Lego's too expensive, yeah. Alright. What do we have here? Ooh. Ooh. Oh, man. Oh. This, Master Grade EX? Master Grade EX, Strike Freedom? Oh, I like that. Oh man. Look at the crystal red too. Man. I remember seeing one of the former oh shit, what is that? What's the company that makes Warhammer figures again? I can't think of the name on the top of my head, but one of the former employees there, they built this, and I remember them just looking at the gold inner frame, and they were just devastated because they were just going to cover it up. But to me, I think of it as like a beauty that is like meant to be covered. And it leaves you, like, guessing, wondering what it's like on the inside. Right? Red parts are clear so you can see the gold too inside. Yeah. I like the blue too. That's like right here where the hip cannons are at. And the dragoons as well. Like the fact that they got the gold. That's really cool. Man. Well done. Well done. And it's in the art pose, or the box art pose. Man. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. Awesome stuff. All right.
Oh, well, as long as they're having fun, like I said, not done cooking yet. Go ahead and pop them back in the oven. Just the brain part, not the entire kid. Hey, at least Pokemon's still a normal hobby people can partake in.
I've seen this one.
That's life now, I guess. It's been a while since I last checked in with Pokemon,
Dude,
but over the last decade,
we gotta watch.
IP has gone
We
up-
gotta watch Poke Streets on X. They're always posting like all of these scalpers, all of these grown adult men get into fights over boxes and pallets of Pokemon cards. Like, there was a time where we would used to go to war over land, over politicians, over policies, over women. Okay? And now we're getting into fights in the back of a Best Buy parking lot for just some children's card game. Truly is tragic. The fall of man. You hate how it's not a hobby anymore, it's becoming more focused on money. Yeah. Especially with all like the influencers who have gotten involved as well, right? Logan Paul. I'm trying to think of like anyone else besides him, but definitely him when like Pokemon, One Piece, right? Like the One Piece cards, people are crazy over those too. And there was a point where I thought Magic the Gathering was safe from that. But then they started doing collabs, you know, with Fallout, Marvel, I think DC. I wouldn't be surprised if DC had a collab. Skyrim. I think even Hatsune Miku had a collab. Oh, and Assassin's Creed. And Final Fantasy. Oh, man. Yeah. I'll tell you this. I think if... Not that there's like a 0.04% chance of this happening. But if, let's just say for the sake of argument, okay? If Gunpla were to ever get this sort of attraction that Pokemon has now, where people are just scalping like all of these sets, just basic sets in general, right? If it ever reached the popularity of like Pokemon cards, Labubu, Nidos, that trend would die out so fast. Like a candle being covered by a glass. Because it's such a niche hobby. Nobody wants to like disassemble parts of plastic with nippers, and then you have like all these nubs and rigid pieces, right? Like just basic casual folk, right? And I'm not saying like they can't get into it, but I think for the crowd that are into like Pokemon cards and stuff, they wouldn't want to do that, you know? That just takes too much time. Which is why they go over to Lego, because it's already there. The pieces are already smoothened out and ready for you to put together. Right? And Lego has fallen into that as well with like they're collabing with Pokemon. I even talked about this on stream. You know, with all the sets that are coming out. They're scalping those sets. Yeah, it's just too much work for them. Like that trend would just be dust in the wind. Anyways, this guy is speechless apparently.
Bad rap for being overrun with scalpers, clearing out all the shelves, and fighting children for booster boxes.
Getting in fights with the children.
Nerd Square.
Some are even using their
Video
children.
Is not what I want to see when I search up Pokemon Slap Fight. I'm looking more for something like this. So what happened here? Well, maybe those rich influencers over there have something to do with it. Once these people get a whiff of something being a potential money-making scheme, your hobby might already be cooked before you know it. Everyone can be influenced by clout to a certain degree. The way some of you will talk to a squirrel if it comes from LA, that's just modern-day celebrity worship. If someone with 1 million followers starts making content about buying Pokemon
there he
cards,
is.
and then tells all their fans they should do it too because it's a great investment.
LARPin' Paul.
33 of the packs off that sold for $40,000 each.
Chances are they will listen to successful YouTuber living in giant mansion because they're a successful YouTuber living in a giant mansion without realizing said YouTuber used their mountain of wealth
$16 million. What fucking tabletop card in a children's card game costs $16 million? This is like artificial inflated hype over a certain like interest or hobby. Like when you make something marketable, or you make something like seem way more valuable than it actually is, and you popularize it, people are gonna catch on and start to think, huh, you know, there really is something more to this. I want to be just like this guy and try to make millions off of this children's card game. This would be like if somebody took a copy of GoldenEye 007 on the N64. All right, like say it's like completely sealed, hasn't been opened in a while, and somebody was selling it for, let's say, $500,000. Who's gonna buy that? Who's gonna think that like, oh, like this game, because you know it costs this much, right? Like we should just start selling games at this price. I mean, obviously, I think the gaming industry is going to do that with GTA 6. That's a whole other can of worms, but I'm just talking about like third-party sellers in general. I hope Gundam and TCG won't be affected like One Piece. Oh, right, because they have a card game now. I like the models that go with it. You know, they're kind of like Warhammer. Games Workshop. I just realized that's the name of the company that makes the Warhammer figures. Games Workshop. Yeah, I like the figures. The cards, I'm not really familiar with the trading card game, but yeah, I completely forgot that was a thing. And I hope not. Like, I think when it comes to anime, I mean, Gundam has its place as being like a pioneer of the medium. But looking at shows that people know in the mainstream, like obviously Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto, you know, all of these kind of like Shonen Jump anime or manga, Demon Slayer, JoJo's, right? I don't really know if Gundam really holds a candle to those kinds of shows. Which isn't to say that, like, you know, I'm not trying to like knock Gundam as being bad, you know. I think the storytelling, you know, if you look past the, you know, the big robots fighting each other, right, and you see like the political aspects and the dangers, the effects of war that it brings upon society, it's an intriguing show. You know, it's an interesting franchise. But I don't know. I don't know. So maybe the trading card game is it's probably safe for now. Quote unquote. For now. Yeah.
Making regular people panic buy, which creates more supply and demand, making the prices skyrocket. And would you look at that? We now have all these rare cards to sell you at a 500% markup rate. You know the saying, with great hype comes great responsibility. Hobbies used to be activities people do for fun. Now it's only for making a quick buck, because that's all that matters these days. Acting a fool at the Costco.
Oh my god. Look at that. Look at that. Grabbing handfuls. Dude. Look, they're scrambling.
Why everyone's so Mr. Krabs and not more whimsy like SpongeBob?
They're scrambling for scraps. They clean that palette
like
in
every
seconds.
game has the reputation of unruly fans and scams around every corner, to the point where people will set up knockoff Pokemon vending machines with resealed booster packs.
Oh my god.
Can't be trusting anybody these days. Show of hands. When you bump yourself on the head, would you go see a doctor who got his medical degree online? With a home office located in a sketchy back alley with bathtubs full of ice? Exactly. When it comes to anything important, like your health, legal matters, we should trust professionals with the right credentials. There's a reason why you wouldn't let someone with a weekend certificate handle your surgery. Just like there's a reason why Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. They'll fight to get their clients the best results. With over $30 billion recovered for their clients, they know a thing or two about getting you what you're owed. Because you'd think it'd be simple, right? You get hurt because of someone's negligence.
I see why they named themselves Morgan & Morgan.
But with so
Eminem was already taken.
Play, it's not always that easy without some help. How does 1,000 lawyers and 100 offices nationwide sound? When you hire Morgan & Morgan, it's like recruiting an army of experts.
Imagine starting a legal firm and you name yourselves Eminem,
or whatever your name is. Your case might be in danger, girl.
And then you get
you can check out
filed
Morgan
lawsuit.
And not to worry about fees. It's free unless they win your case. For more information, you can go to forthepeople.com/advision to see if you have a claim. Thank
Pure
you,
irony.
Morgan, for sponsoring this video. So, manners. Where did they go?
Where did they go?
Has become a dying art form. Whenever there's an item in limited quantities, civilized behavior goes out the window as a stampede of wild horses start mowing down everything in their path as they make their way to the newest Dubai chocolate Nido mystery.
That's got to be like Black Friday or something.
Store. What in the hell?
I'm running to get in line.
The Swatch app collab? Oh my god.
Imagine being a regular person at the mall.
What is
and watching
that?
This entire thing happen. You'd think someone yelled, "This entire floor is made of lava! Run!" At that point, I'm just gonna let my feet get burned. Way too early for all this cardio. Let's say you have a couple days off and you have a bunch of free time. Lining up the day before the store even opens to get first dibs isn't unheard of. Living on unemployed hours from time to time is kind of fun, but there comes a point when you have to ask yourself,
Kinda.
is camping out on the hard concrete and not showering for 5 days even worth it?
Camping inside Kmart for a new Pokemon drop. They moved from having their foldable chairs outside of the store to now just sitting in the store. Oh my god. This reminds me of that one clip. I don't know if you've seen it, but there was this shop somewhere where this woman opened the door, one of the employees, and there was just this whole line of women outside waiting for like Nidos. I just have to wonder, like, do these people not have anything else to do with their day? To just choose to just sit on the ground of a Kmart waiting for Pokemon cards. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Like, this looks like a fire hazard, you know? What if something bad happened and everybody needed to leave? Then what? Right? There's got to be some kind of policy for this. We cannot tolerate this.
How do you people go to the bathroom? Oh, you know what? Olivia
Yeah.
Rodrigo said she was traumatized by her fans wearing diapers. Uh-oh. Stinky. Even after braving the elements of heat, cold, and nerd BO, you still need to prep yourself for the all-out war once you get inside. This ain't no, sorry, excuse me, just gonna sneak right past ya situation. You just run at full speed, blindly following the crowd. And then
Oh my God.
you just start grabbing and hope you come out with a prismatic evolution set and not a fistful of someone's hair.
All hell is breaking loose.
Oh
All
no.
hell is breaking loose. All hell is.
This looks like a mixture of scalpers and people who just want to get Pokemon
Bro.
cards for their kids. Sorry to this woman. She had 3 boxes snatched right out of her hands. Posted online for everyone to see. Talk about embarrassing for little Kevin when he sees this video.
Dude. It didn't even leave the cart. And they were grabbing handfuls of that shit. Like it was crack. Like it's like you go to the homeless. You got this group of homeless people and you bring out like crates of beer. They all just scramble to it. Like oh my god.
Mommy, Ryan said you lost a bunch of aura in Target. What does that mean? Look, kid, I ain't buying anything for you ever again unless it's online. Pick a different hobby. Panic buying.
Oh,
is a
good luck
mindset
with
that
that.
spreads fast. Companies are smart now. They're investing so much money into marketing strategies.
You
that
you
tap into
you
our
can get
phone.
out of
I
here.
don't want to be left out from
You
newest
can get
trendy
out of
thing
here.
Everyone else is doing. The fans interested
You can
in
get out.
dipping their toes in games get super discouraged because they can barely find any stock, and the employees watch in stunned silence as people fight over pieces of cardboard.
Actual grown men for real.
Working in the customer
Taking
service
too
industry
much, man.
isn't just cooked. It's been burnt to a crisp and thrown in the deep fryer again. Minimum wage workers already don't get paid enough. Now they're expected to have 10 years experience when applying for a high school job and to be able to referee when a fight breaks out in a toy section. It's not like beating someone up will do anything for you either. Other than your future employer pulling a video out during your interview and asking, "This you?" Your Crocs off, pants down to your ankles. You walk up to the cash register, super out of breath like you ran a marathon, holding a mangled Pokemon set. What do you think the proper response from the cashier will be? "Sir, you are banned from this Target. Pick up your Crocs and get the hell out." Okay, what if you ask someone with more than enough sets in their shopping cart super nicely? Never underestimate the power of being polite.
Yeah.
"Excuse me, can you spare one tiny misery box for widow old me?"
Two. Got a whole stack. Got 2 rows.
He just wants the pouch.
Okay.
I would have had security escort that guy out. Like, yeah, you want the cards? You want the cards? You want the cards? Take your fucking cards. Take the little cards, you little shit. Fuck, man.
Maybe deserved because I said ooh, but man, these scalpers, you can't reason with them. The ones paying for and buying up all the stuff
really
are
can't.
mostly adults, but a huge demographic of Pokemon fans are kids, who are prime targets for intimidation tactics by loser grown-ups. I don't care if you're 5 years old, no one's stopping this Sigma mindset. I live my life for me. Woke up at 3 a.m., gym for 2
Bro,
hours. I'm making
got his
money
kid over
selling
there.
Pokemon cards. Hey, is that a gun?
Oh, he's reaching.
That was the lamest anime villain scare tactic I've ever seen. Not only was the kid not scared at all, he even roasted him before he left.
Bro. Man. Imagine just like thinking you're tougher than some 11 or 12-year-old kid, and you're just a grown-ass 20 4 5-year-old man. What are you doing with yourself? And how much do you want to bet that that wasn't even a real gun? Like, it was just a pellet gun. It was just an airsoft gun. You know?
Is this perhaps child chud behavior? The mental gymnastics.
Child chud behavior?
Bringing a gun to a Pokemon card fight is a good idea. There's not even a fight here. It's just a lineup. Anytime there's fresh new stock about to drop, all these scalpers can see is dollar signs, and they're not wrong. The profits for flipping a Prismatic Evolution set, which sells for around 50 USD, can reach up to 130 to 150, sometimes even more. Guess what happened when Pokemon released new merch at Target to celebrate their 30th anniversary?
No.
I'll give you a hint. Pikachu over here had to take an extra long smoke break after what he witnessed. Scalpers taking home entire displays and
taking it,
stock under
taking
shelves
it,
so they can come back
grabbing,
and buy it later.
Grabbing, hoarding. Oh my god.
Well, it's like what that really brave kid said. Is 5 hours of your life worth a handful of Pokemon Pop-Tarts you might be able to sell for double the amount at a respectable $20?
Oh man. I remember seeing the Pokemon Pop-Tarts.
At that point, just work for a company. You probably wouldn't even have to wake up so early, and you get health benefits. People will do anything other than fill out a job application. Target did eventually implement policies to prevent scalping, I mean, about time. Only took some fistfights and someone waving a Glock around for them to finally do something. Due to high demand, all trading card products will be limited to 3 per item per person
Oh
per
my
day.
lord.
Target reserves the right to limit quantities of items to be for resale, or beyond a reasonable level.
It's just like the toilet paper or paper towels during COVID.
To resellers in order to allow all the ability to purchase
This is so sad.
Competitive. Okay, kind of cook something here, except how are you gonna prove someone's a reseller? I don't think people are walking around like,
True.
Hi, I'm reseller. Hi, reseller. I'm dad. Target's got a lot of stuff going on. Their main focus isn't going to be triple checking that each customer is a true Pokemon fan. The most they're doing is limiting the amount per transaction. So someone can buy their limit of 3 a day, go outside, put on a Scooby-Doo disguise, come back, buy more, rinse and repeat. One thing stores start to do is take the plastic wrap off product before selling it. Much to the chagrin of resellers not being able to resell their wares at the highest price point possible, and then crashing out in front of the employees.
Corporate news, really? Because I've heard otherwise from corporate.
Corporate tells you that it's by store basis, and so that is what we're doing in this.
And the shit that
Sucks to suck, dude.
That shit real, bro. They really cutting these ETBs up.
If you're buying cards for yourself as a gift, they're doing you a free plastic wrap disposal service. Pokemon stores in Japan will cut the tops.
Imagine like getting so butthurt over the box presentation. Now I've had a kit before, well, a few kits really, that I've ordered online, and especially a third party that I got, which I really did not like. But the box was bent, like it was bent out of shape. And especially that third party, it was just beat up. But you know, I didn't really make a huss or fuss about it. I mean, I was a little concerned about the third party box, but for all the other boxes that had like maybe a little bit of an indent or like a bend to them, I mean, it just was what it was.
They'll even have questions at the till that you have to answer correctly to prove to them you're not a reseller. Hey, no one likes the guy who says, oh yeah, if you're such a big fan, name 10 songs, B-sides only. That's kind of insufferable.
B-sides only.
I approve. You ask those resellers, what do Pokemons eat? What's Pikachu's middle name? Do you know why Ash still looks 10 when he's 30 years old? These Pokemon card vending machines
Fairy
are
godparents.
to limit how much people can buy at a time, and to lessen unemployed behavior, like loitering around stores all day instead of showering. Even then, people are still finding a way to cause glitches on the machines to make it seem like they're not working, when in reality, they just stuffed a piece of a Dave & Buster's card in the card reader, so now no one can buy anything, and then they'll just come back later to pick up what's left. Or they'll do some caveman shenanigans, like tape up an out of order sign on a machine that's working just fine.
Something just fell out, so that might be it.
It's cut, huh?
Yeah, it definitely looks cut.
For some reason,
what?
These people think it's a good idea to post physical evidence of themselves tampering with these Pokemon
I've
machines.
never seen
Or
a
like
Pokemon
this,
machine
with
at
Nintendo,
all.
The company known to sue everyone and their dog for playing a fan-made
Not at
Super
any
Mario
like
game
grocery
once.
store
Good luck to your
or
digital footprint, I guess.
Walmart.
Getting into the scalping business isn't all rise, grind, and profit with low effort money scheme, as reselling content likes to make it seem.
Bro.
When companies overload stores with
What the
millions of
fuck?
new sets replace old ones, or the
What
hype just
the
dies down in general,
fuck?
well, now you're stuck with $1,000 worth of trading cards, microplastics, and Pikachu onesies. Scalpers are finding out there are actually consequences to your actions when they open their fridge and it's filled with booster packs instead of groceries. And it's not just stores fighting back against cringe resellers. Regular civilians are turning into Pokemon vigilantes, roaming around Targets, stealing from the rich to give to the poor.
Dusted. Oh.
Maybe not give to the poor, but at Unfortunately, someone's doing something against people hoarding Pokemon cards. Well, I hate to say it, but the state of Pokemon cards
You
is
love
sadder
to see
than
it.
that Bye Bye Butterfree episode. The internet can be a pretty negative place. If your algorithm is only showing you scalpers, scamming kids, and adults brawling over pieces of cardboard, your outlook on picking up a new hobby is gonna be pretty grim. Based on my personal experience though, I'd say there's still a sense of community in the trading card space where it's more positive than anything. Ever since I started playing TCGs this year, I've been able to meet so many cool people, which
League
led
of
to all our other
Legends?
interests crossing over. It's kinda nice, having an excuse to go outside and
Oh
actually
my
have
god.
meeting in person instead of having plans, never making it out of the group chat. One
Why does
negative
everything
thing I
have to
say
have like a
about
trading
going to a
card
trading
these
card
days?
convention, hey guys,
I
how about
don't
we
know, it's
take a
trendy.
shower and wear deodorant for
Whatever.
fun. Have a good day, try not to be dumb, and see you in the next one.
What?
Okay, well, that was informatively entertaining. God. I really, Gunpla will never be like that. But even if it does, like I said, the hype is just going to burn out so fast we won't even know that there was even a flame lit to begin with. Oh man. It's just pathetic, really. That's all it is. Alright. What do we got here? What being unemployed taught me about people.
What being unemployed taught me about the people around me. Now, this topic is a very kind of funny topic to me because it just
I'm
sounds
sure it
so
is.
stupid when you say it out loud. But unfortunately, a very harsh reality is present in what I'm about to talk about. So, for those of you who don't know, haven't watched any of the other videos, during the October, like very start of October 2025 until like mid-November, maybe a little bit later, it was around 5 to 6 weeks. For 5 to 6 weeks, I was unemployed. Just to let you know, I got my first job at 14 years old.
I am
have been
envious of you.
employed at, I think what's been like maybe 6 jobs in my lifetime. Since I was 14.
I've been employed in a job technically 2 times in my life. I'm gonna let you all in on a little secret, alright? This is some Kitana lore for you guys, okay? I had always wanted a job when I was in high school, okay? And my parents never let me get one because they thought the education was more important. You know, the SATs and my schooling. And the reason I suspect they didn't want me to focus on getting like a part-time job, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you, I think it had to do with my sister. Because when she was in high school, she had a job, all right, at the mall. But at the same time, she made some pretty poor decisions during her youth, like her time in high school and especially in college. This is why I think that I've never had this talk with my parents, and I kind of don't want to actually have that talk with them, and especially my sister as well. But for years now, I've thought about this theory, and I've tried to see like if there's any studies or whatever of this thing that I've thought of, but every time I try looking for it, I always get like results of like studies that show, oh, how like the youngest sibling gets more attention than the oldest or whatever, and that's not what I'm looking for. I've had this theory where whatever the oldest child does, all right, throughout their entirety of being with their parents until they move out when they're an adult, whatever the oldest child does, the parents will take that information, see what has happened with that child and the results it got, learn, and then think about how they should approach the youngest, right? And thinking about like what worked with the oldest and what didn't work with the oldest child, and then go from there. So what I'm trying to get at is that because my sister, because of the decision she made in high school, has essentially influenced the way I was brought up when I was in high school, if that makes any sense. It's a theory I've had for so long, and I'm sure there are people who have looked into this. I'm sure there are. I'm just not looking in the right places. But yeah, I've always wanted a job when I was in high school, and I never did. I never got a job until I was 22 as a teppanyaki restaurant busser. I know, that's... I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. And now here I am volunteering at a lousy, boring attorney's office with no pay.
So it's many years. I was only unemployed, not including the time before obviously I was able to get a job.
Because my dad said so.
I've been unemployed for a grand total of like 5 or 6 weeks since I first got a job. And that was in 2025 October. That wasn't when I was younger or this current moment. I was unemployed for a grand total of 5 to 6 weeks. Every other time in my life, I've had a job. And again, that doesn't mean that I was working like a full-time job, working a bunch of hours.
Clearly.
Like, I was definitely really lazy working when I was younger. I was probably barely scratching 10 hours a week during most of my school time. Like,
wow.
I was very lazy and I wasn't working that much. But the point is, I always had a job. I never didn't have a job. Moving forward, I got moved to a full-time position. Well, after, obviously, they offered it to me and I accepted it. So, in March 2024... I worked full-time for about a year and a half. Then I quit on my birthday.
Okay.
Or a little bit before that, I think it was. And then I quit. It was like 2 weeks notice.
Birthday quit.
I quit. I was done. And
Done.
For the first time in years, I was officially unemployed. True in the sense. I was still applying for jobs, but I didn't have anything lined up. I had a bank account to back it. I knew how much I needed to spend on my expenses. And I was just like, fuck it. I can't be here anymore. And I quit.
I quit.
In those 5 to 6 weeks that I was unemployed, the most important thing I learnt was how differently the world treats you when you don't have a job. And I shit you not, I was looking at people sideways after the reactions I was getting. And it's not that leaving your job and not having a job lined up is a smart idea. It's not a smart idea. It's just a decision I made in the moment because I was that unhappy and I knew I could do it based on my situation and resources.
Sure.
Big emphasis on that. I had the resources, money, and ability to do that. I had the comfortability enough to do that. So don't just do it because you heard a random person on the internet say he did it. I did it knowing I could do it. But anyway, when I did it, the first week was chill. You know, no dramas. The second week, my dad's side, they obviously knew about it. The second week, when they picked up the phone to call me, I had never felt more judged in my entire life by them. And you know, these are the type of people who don't think the internet is real. These are the type of people who listen to AI music because they think it's real. Like, this is the type of the generation of age we're talking about.
Yeah.
So for them to not only obviously not believe in anything to do with online careers, for them to hear I was unemployed, it was like starting World War III. They would not let it go for the life of them. And I don't live with them. I don't talk to them. I don't see them too much. But just the amount of negativity and backlash and, you know, just judgment I got from them was just astounding. It really made me realize how people look at certain people in society. And this is my family. This isn't like some random Joe off the street who I don't really know. This is like people I've known for years. And for them
Yeah.
to be so judgmental and so just like you're worthless pretty much because I didn't have a job.
Well, I'm not really sure if they would. I mean, I don't know how they judged you, but I would say that as I think for every parent, they expect the best out of their children, right? Not just for their children, but the best for or oh, I just bumped my mic there. They expect the best for their children, not just they want the best for their children. That's what I'm trying to say. And so, you know, him having this job and then leaving this job, of course it's gonna, you know, maybe scratch a few heads. Because, you know, depending on like how the family thinks and what kind of values they set forth, they'll probably wonder, hey, like what's going on? What's happening? Like, are you okay? Are you good? Right? I don't know.
Just like dumbfounded me. I just couldn't believe it. And they're very like university college orientated. So is my other parent side as well. But just to hear it so like blatantly thrown in my face was just something I didn't expect. It's not that I thought they would be overly joyed about me being unemployed, even if it was for such a small amount of time, but you just wouldn't expect to get that reaction from your own family, especially considering they knew how much I'd saved, how long I had worked for in my life, and obviously what I was doing. It's not like I was just not working, not studying, doing nothing with my life, being a degenerate. Like, I was actually doing things and working towards things outside of the job, but they just completely ignored all that and just thought I was just some homeless guy on the street living off drug money or some shit like that. And that was just one
blood
single
money.
kid. That wasn't anybody else. That was the first example. Now, fast
Attacked him
forward.
through a wall.
I'm enjoying my leisure time. You know, I'm waking up a little bit later, getting my sleep-ins, going to the gym. Next thing was the friends. When obviously they heard that I'd left, they were obviously supportive, but they were also quite judgmental. They were like, "Oh, what are you doing? Are you gonna like? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that?" And I could just feel the tone change in some of them. And it's like some of them I still talk to, some of them I don't talk to at all. And looking back, maybe this is what started that downhill spiral of our relationship. Maybe could have been them thinking my life is going in the gutter for not having a job for a grand total again of 5 weeks. I'm gonna keep emphasizing this because I just
You're losing yourself.
But I could feel the tone
Going
shift.
down
I
a
could feel the
downward
judgment.
spiral.
I could feel the kind of like, oh, what are you doing in life type of thing. And it was just a very unpleasant feeling because obviously I pride myself in trying to keep myself to a certain standard, as most of us do. But really looking back and seeing how this all unfolded, it's really hard for me to not look at it as people just looking down on me from all age demographics. Because as much as I love my family, like,
Or the kids making fun of you?
that's not the type of way you should be talking to your kid. Like, that's not how you should be treating them when you're in the process of experiencing life, especially at the young age
Sure.
I'm at. Like, I'm not an old
Yeah.
guy. I know some of you might think I have wisdom beyond my years, but you know, I'm not that old.
I don't know
anymore.
who you are.
Like, I'm still
I'm just
in my early
here for the
20s, right?
video.
But the fact that, like, you know, this is the first time ever that I'd left a job, it just kind of baffled me at their reaction. Especially with the friends too, given that they were also unemployed for quite a while as well. So for them to be so judgmental, it just kind of threw me for a loop, because it was just like, bro, like, what are you talking about? You were in this situation too.
Yeah.
But like, it was always like backhanded comments. It was always like side reactions. It was always like, there's another meaning here that's not being said. And that's the way it felt with a lot of them. Despite obviously a lot of hands-on, first-hand criticism, there was also a lot of backhanded criticism. A lot of like, why are you saying that? You know what I mean? And that's what I kind of learnt about being unemployed, is just how the world kind of treats you when they know that information. It's like they look down on you. They look at you as like you're some burden and disappointment because you don't have a job. And it made me think about all
Not
the
being
people who are
productive.
struggling
I
to
mean,
get
that's the
jobs during
thing, though.
crisis.
I think for so many people, with, you know, this age of the internet, social media, there's been this prop up of expectations that have arisen in the youth, in young adults, right? And so we want to be these like productive members of society. And then when somebody doesn't like conform to that sort of stigma, right? There's somebody who's either just like left their job or they're unemployed. It's just kind of like this thing where it's like, I don't want to be that way. You know, I want to find a path of success for myself and try to not end up on this path that this person is on, that led to them ending up having to quit and be, you know, unemployed. I think that's what it is. And it sucks too that, you know, it's not just his friends talking about this, but also his family. His family talks to him like that. And part of me kind of gets it because, like I said, I think for everybody's parents, they want their children to, you know, have the best, right? They want them to have the best in life. Even if it's like whatever job it is that they're working in. And then when they leave, it's like, whoa, like, what happened there? Anyways.
You know, all the young adults, people in the workforce, people who may not have the resume or the ability to get even a simple job because it's just other people coming in or whatever's happening. And it made me think like, damn, what are these people dealing with? Because I can only imagine how these people would feel coming from debt from their degrees, not able to financially support themselves. The people around them probably making sly comments and judging them for not working when they don't even have a choice to be working. Like, it just really made me think about what are other people dealing with when it comes to this, because if I'm getting ostracized so much for just choosing to be unemployed for a temporary time, what about the people who are unemployed without choice? Who may be a quote-unquote unemployed failure for longer than someone like me or whoever else is in my situation. It truly made me like think like, damn, bro, like, when did it get so bad? And it's just something that I've been thinking about a lot recently.
Always.
I know a lot of people will say it doesn't matter what people say, you know, you got to do what you love doing and do what's right for you. But it's not that it's got me down in a mood.
There was a post on X that I saw sometime, I think about a week ago, or a week or two, and it went something like, quote, chase your passions or follow your dreams, end quote. And then the person went, and that's how I left my job and went from making 11K a month to 1K a month. Man.
Or it had me feeling so upset. Obviously, you know, I've been at my new job now for like, what, 6 or 7 months? No pun intended. And like, everything resumed normally. And a funny thing as well, during that time, I did things like getting my license, getting these certain things done, and it was crickets. For people who would judge so early on the things I hadn't done, as soon as I'd done them, it was just like, oh, cool. Like, that was it. So these people who would ostracize and push me down and tell me that I needed to do all these things to be successful or to have this or to be normal or whatever, once those things were done, they had nothing to say. There was no congratulations, or you find that it was just crickets. Which means,
Like,
did
oh,
they truly
okay.
even care in the first place? Or do they just want to have a reason to be angry? And that's what I think a lot of our reactions to this should be. It's not that there
You know,
should be some negative response you should give. It should just
there's
be
a
like,
certain
"Alright,
person
cool, move on."
that I
Because
kind of think
ultimately,
about
you know,
this
you can't change people's
with,
opinions. People will always think what they want to think. If people think you're a failure because you're
but
temporarily unemployed or you're unemployed by force, it is what it is. You can't
I
force
don't,
people to believe you're not just because you have the credentials. If you know that you're not, you know your situation, you know where you're
I
heading,
also don't want to
that's
care
good enough. Like, you
about
can
talking
accept
about that.
internally. If you can accept and you know that this is not going to be forever, and you really do know that, and you know that I'm not going to be in this spot for the next few months, like I'll figure it out, then why, belittle yourself just because the people around you tell you that, oh, because you don't have this, you're lesser than me. Like, it's the stupidest thing ever. And it's something I had
Big
to learn
rat.
a lot over the last few months, is accepting that, these people are just, they're just
Died to rats.
ranting and rambling and probably coming from their own insecurities or beliefs. It's probably not how they truly feel about me, specifically the individual. It's more a reflection of how they look at those types of people. But at the end of the day, it can also just be people showing that they care for you in their own weird, twisted way. Despite me not agreeing with that sentiment at all, I guess it could be that too. But I mean, look. All I could say is if you're unemployed, just get a job, bro. If you're homeless, just get a house. Because that's just the logic that people want to live by these days.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, look, just trust yourself, trust your situation.
It's like that
Give
clip.
yourself some
If you're homeless, go buy a house.
time, some breathing room, and again, not all criticism or all things said to you by adults or people older than you or people who claim to know more about you than XYZ is always correct. There's room for human error, there's room for people to make mistakes, and there's room for you as a person to grow and learn things. So even if there's periods that may look a little bit darker than others, it's okay. You can be unemployed in your mom's basement. It's fine. Just not forever. As long as you're working towards getting out of that situation, then that's a start. You know what they say, to get to a dream or to achieve a dream, you have to start by starting it. But anyway, that's it for today's video.
I guess
Thank
so.
you so much. I'll see you in the next one.
You gotta take that first step forward. Well, I mean, kind of a basic topic, but yeah. I mean, it's rough. To not have a job and then try to go about your days, go about your life while, people think about you differently, perceive you differently for, not having certain aspects, not having a job. It's tough. It can be. If you don't have really a strong, supportive group behind you, people that can truly help you, care about you, having some kind of support system. But yeah, it's rough. Anyways, Gen Z will destroy the birth rate. What? I'm gonna kill the birth rate. I'm killing babies. Our species will die because of me. They will all perish. Okay.
Gen Z's baby
What do we got?
bust. Why Gen Z aren't having kids? This shouldn't be shocking at all. I think we all know why.
What do the Gen Z stare and the decision to not have kids have in common? Well, at first, nothing. One looks like a social quirk, often attributed to a rude personality by the older generations, while the other feels like a huge, life-altering decision.
I think I know the commonality. I think it's just not giving a nonchalance, you know,
Sure.
the overall disregard for anything outside of this moment, to be
But
honest.
they're both symptoms of the same issue. A generation that's increasingly hesitant to engage with a world that feels unstable, overwhelming, and difficult to navigate. All right, to be honest, I don't know if the Gen Z stare is anything more than an overblown social media trend, but what I do know is that most of Gen Z doesn't really give a shit about having kids.
And there's a multiple reasons for that. It's because the economy sucks. It's because I guess the political and gender divide. You know, the attack on families and the fact that men and women both have to work in order to actually afford survival, you know, and then on top of having kids, take me for example, if I couldn't afford a woman and a baby right now. I could not. Like, if in order to compromise, I would have to decrease my quality of life, of which I have no inclination to do. So yeah.
According to a Business Insider survey, only 27% of 18 to 26-year-olds said they saw starting a family as an important.
In a survey of 1,880 American adults, Business Insider, partnership with YouGov, 27% of 18 to 26-year-olds said they saw starting a family as an important goal to achieve in the next 5 years. 18 to 26 years old. Man. Only 27%. 72 said they wanted to achieve financial security. 59% said their goal was improving their health. Well, to the 59%, I wish you the best. I don't know what quote-unquote improving your health means these days, but good luck with that, you know. I think everybody wants financial security. Let's just get that out of the way. But to make that a priority, like to have that without any sort of divots or things that would impede on having that stability, like having children, raising a family. Yeah, I mean, that could be, you know, a driving factor. You'd rather just want to be wealthy than raising kids. Damn, dude. Damn.
Important goal to achieve in the next 5 years.
Not shocking.
Is this really just selfishness brought on by smartphones and social media, or does having kids
You're
require
part
a
of it.
society that does not feel like it's going to implode at any second?
Well, in a very anti-natal society, the war on babies, the war on kids, I mean, it's everywhere. The war on family, the war on man and woman. Listen, it's no shock. It took us like 70 years to get here. It's probably
The
gonna
war
take
on
us about
candy.
that amount of time to get out of
I'm
this.
more inclined to think the latter, but let's try to answer those questions in this video.
Also, Gen Z, we have no will or we have no desire to fix all the fuck-ups the previous generations before us made. Why should we bear the burden of having to fix this steaming pile of shit of which people call a society that previous generations have handed down to us? I just don't see the point.
Let's ground.
I feel like, you know, eventually it'll probably get to a point where we have no other option but to at least attempt to fix it. Well, I think we're making that attempt now, but eventually we really got to just step it up in a certain way, you know? Like, housing is just terrible, for instance, right? There's something we got to do about that.
This essay on a singular idea, one that through this video I'll try to prove to be true. The desire to have children, though partially a personal choice, is a reflection of the world people think they're bringing them into. And if you zoom out for a second, this actually isn't just a Gen Z problem or an American
people in general.
Birth rates have been declining across most developed countries for years now.
Yeah.
In the United States, the fertility rate has fallen to around 1.6 births per women.
Let's take a look at that chart, by the way. U.S. total fertility rate for, okay, so we have a peak of around around the 1965, and it was between 3.5 and 4 kids.
We had the baby
And
boomers.
then ever since then, from 65 on forth up until where we are in 2026. Now, we've been below replacement since about, what, the 70s? and then it kind of reached back up, and then it peaked again around like 2008, 9ish, before 2010s, and then it's just been crashing ever since, like a terrible stock portfolio. And now I don't think replacement is ever going to get back up to desired levels until there's serious economic reform, politically, socially, and housing wise. That's my issue too. How the are we supposed to start families when housing prices are insane?
Countries for years now. In the
Absolutely.
United States, the fertility rate has fallen to around 1.6 births per woman.
That is crazy. Again, that is not sustainable whatsoever.
That is not good. Oh my god. I really do think that the 2020s is kind of an era that was taken from us. Like, if COVID never happened, the 2020s would have been, I think, drastically different than they are now. But, you know, here we are. Like, I was pretty optimistic, you know, in terms of like how people would be after the pandemic and stuff, right? I really thought that, you know, as a whole, we would start to not take things for granted, like the people around us, being able to see people, talk with them, hang out with friends, things like that. But as soon as the vaccine came out, right, as soon as like Moderna and, you know, Pfizer, when they had their vaccines come out and stuff like that, you know, it was like, oh, well, okay, let's everybody rush, you know, back to society. I want to get on with my life. It's all about me. I just forgot that people are needy. That's all. And look how that's gotten us. Look where that's gotten us now.
Replacement level of 2.1. If you aren't familiar with what the term replacement rate means, it's essentially the average number of children each woman needs to have for a population to sustain itself without shrinking over time.
AKA meaning avoiding extinction. By the way, there's only one developed Western country in the world that is actually above replacement levels. You want to take a guess of that? Go ahead.
Mrs. Fenrir, Lupus Rex, what is going on? Nice to see you here. How are you? Hope you're doing well.
Japan and South Korea are seeing even
Japan
bigger
and
declines,
South Korea.
with South Korea hitting a record low of 0.72, the lowest in the world.
South Korea.
Man, South Korea, they are hurting bad. Like, I remember when they announced they were having like a 4-day work week just so they could have people spend more time with their families or with like their significant others. And Japan's hurting as well. Which is why, you know, I don't want to be too political, but essentially that's why they had initially opened immigration, right? They wanted people coming in because the population was dropping, right? Like, the population was dropping faster than there were people being reproduced. Isn't that crazy? That's good. Oh, you're doing some shopping? Well, that's very nice, Lupus Rex. That's very nice. Well, just make sure you're paying attention while you're doing so, not just like watching the stream as you shop.
Across Europe, the trend looks nearly identical. The EU's average fertility rate sits at about 1.5, with many countries continuing to trend downward. So clearly, something universal, something structural about the reality we now live in is reshaping how people across the world think about one of the most fundamental decisions you can make. And while
I know
most
what the
video
problem
essays
is.
I've seen
I know what the problem is. Social media, by the way. Social media, lack of third places, lack of actual knowledge and skills being passed down from older generations
True.
to younger generations, the lack of
True.
upward, mobility economically, the serious lack of men knowing how to be men and women knowing how to be women and coming together to form families and creating healthy children. And the abundance
What
of
is this
easy
image?
access to dopamine via drugs, porn, doom scrolling on social media, and Amazon. I know it sounds crazy, but the fact that you can order anything you want
Yes.
from the click of a button,
Yes.
from the safety of your temperature-controlled home, is causing a lot of problems, by the way.
Yes. Let me go ahead and just say this. I am under the belief that we are in the era of a convenience epidemic. Okay, I do. With all of this technology that is around us, okay, and how accessible it is to have things, delivered at our door, finding, people to maybe hang out with, these dating apps, trying to find people to hook up with, right? And all kinds of information as well that's out there at our fingertips, whether we're even like intentionally looking for it or not. It's just coming to us. And the fact that it's just happening at such a rapid pace, we can't learn and try to improve ourselves, build off of it, try to have some sort of forward momentum, like he was saying, to basically ground ourselves as human beings, like previous generations, because the information is just so easy to just grasp now that we don't even have to think about it. And that's scary, especially when you add in the fact that there are people who are profiting off of that kind of idea right now. Isn't that something?
But even if more housing was built, it doesn't necessarily mean that Gen Z could afford it. Moving back to Korea, the average the median home price in the US has climbed to around $420,000, more than double what it was just a decade ago.
Guys, look at this. I'm seeing over $400,000.
What do we got? House prices outpaced income growth over the past 40 years. Median household income, median house price in the United States. Let's see. Oh man. Since 85. It hasn't even here. It's not even close. I mean, I'm sure it was closer earlier, but holy shit. It's day by day, it's been harder for me to believe there was once a time where somebody could just have a normal part-time 9-to-5 job and were able to just get by just fine, being able to afford a house and take care of a family. Slowly, day by day, that kind of moment in time is just becoming some kind of fiction, if that makes any sense. I'm telling you, the 2020s, it's really been snubbed from us. It really has. Like, if COVID hadn't happened, it would have, this chart right here would not have like gone drastically skyrocketing like this. You know, it would probably continue to crawl up like this, right? Or maybe just make its way down or just plateau. But this, oh my god.
Right, 5.3x the median household. Yeah, 5.3x the median household income. Whereas, what, decades ago, back in the 80s, right, it was only 3.6x the median household income. And mind you, the stark difference here is back in the 80s, a man could work and, you know, his wife didn't have to work too much. She could stay at home and do what she does with the kids and whatnot. And you can live mostly comfortably a single paycheck from a guy. Now, in this modern society, not only are housing prices 5.3x the median household income, but you have two grown adults typically, or multiple people in one home, who are working full time.
Full time.
5.3x. Like, it just shows it goes to show you the amount of inflation we've had, the devaluing of our.
Here's a little theory for you guys. Okay, I just thought of this. You know that statement of, you will own nothing and you will be happy? Right? The World Economic Forum wrote that like about a decade ago. Right? That phrase that gets like thrown out like every so often. I wouldn't be surprised if this was all like some sort of coup where eventually newer generations like myself with Gen Z, newer generations are going to struggle finding housing, so they're going to have to resort to rent. And eventually rent is going, I mean, obviously rent is way much more, you know, than the median income, but eventually it's going to get to a point where you're going to have to rely on not just two people, but you'll need to have like more people involved in order to keep the rent up, right? Could you imagine that? And I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope that's something that never comes to light at all.
Dollar, because our governments keep printing absurd amounts of money,
Absurd.
oversaturating the economy. And on
say it
top
like
of
that.
all of that, salaries have not kept up with inflation. Genuinely sick
At the
work
same
here.
time, mortgage rates, after sitting near historic lows during 2020 and 2021, increased past 7% in recent years, dramatically increasing the monthly cost of ownership even if prices stabilize. And supply hasn't kept up either. The US has been estimated to be short around 3 million homes, which might take an entire decade to solve.
You know, my thing is, we've been spending so much money in foreign wars and foreign affairs for so long, yet we have so many young people and people in general who are lacking homes and lacking upward mobility in this country. So I want to know, where are our priorities? Where is the American
Where
government's
are our
priorities
priorities?
when it comes
That's
to the people
right.
who are actually here? You know, we're economically struggling.
That's what I want to
People
know.
can't have good paying jobs, and if they do, they gotta work multiple of them. And not only on top of that, people are stressed, depressed, anxious, and you want people to bring kids into this world, into this economy for what? Yeah, solve the economic crisis, solve the social man and woman crisis, then you'll maybe start seeing an uptick in birth rates. But
By
until
that
then,
point, the oldest of Gen Z will be
Until
pushing
then
40,
what?
like me. And a large part of that comes down to zoning.
this guy's pushing 40. That's crazy.
Just
He
like
looks
in
good.
South Korea. In many
Yeah.
major cities, single-family zoning still dominates, making it difficult to build denser, more affordable housing, even in areas where demand is the highest. At the same time, returns in the housing markets are becoming less predictable. The rapid appreciation seen during the pandemic years has slowed, and in some regions reversed, which
That was artificial, by the way. Just letting you
makes
guys know.
housing feel like an even
Yeah.
bigger financial risk. If anything, the smartest financial play right now is actually renting a house. The cost of a home is
Yep.
roughly 40% higher than the cost of renting one in the US. And while that
Crazy.
might seem positive on the surface, like, yeah, you don't have to take care of maintenance and all that stuff, I would argue that
It
most
adds up.
people don't think about having kids in
Exactly.
a large space where it would just be
Right.
rented, where they don't actually even own the home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If we don't have ownership, most people are not having kids without some form of stability. Meaning some type of anchor that they can rely on before they bring kids into the world. Human psychology is very simple. Most people don't want to have kids, or at least the moderate to high IQ people in populations don't want to bring kids into a situation of which they foresee instability. It literally makes no sense. If I'm not stable, if I can't make sure every night for the next year or so I have a warm bed to sleep in, food to put on my table, and clothes on my back, why would I then bring a baby into that situation?
Exactly.
That amount of instability.
Exactly. And I think that's the question that that more of us are asking ourselves. Like, if I can't even see myself being able to, you know, bring myself upward to a stable position in life, right? Being able to have ownership of a house, a means of transportation, you know, bills are, you know, being tough to pay, right? If I'm finding the struggle for myself to even like maintain all of that in such a steady condition or stable condition, why would I ever involve a kid in all of that? You know? Yo, what's good, son? Persona. Persona's tomorrow. Persona is tomorrow morning or afternoon. But nice to see you. Nice to see you here. And there will be fishing. We will be fishing on the river.
It makes no sense if you have the ability to think long
Hope you're
term.
doing well.
And now,
But even if more housing was built, it doesn't necessarily mean that Gen Z could afford it.
because wages, salaries are not keeping up with inflation and interest rates, and I mean, a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of Gen Z, my friends, I think I'm pretty much the only one who either lives by himself and has the ability to, like, you know, have the ability
Ballin'.
to save and not rely on anybody else. That goes to show you where we are in this economy. It's
Moving
crazy.
back to Korea, the average starting salary for a young professional sits closer to 30 to 35 million won per year, around 22,000 to 26,000 USD. That's roughly 35 to 45% of their income going to housing, which is well above the 30% affordability threshold that's recommended. And that's not even considering how many hours Koreans work on average.
And they work like what, 80 hours a week. These people,
Yeah,
I don't know
they're
if you guys
they're on
know,
a
but
whole other
South
level.
Korea has the highest, I can't say the word on YouTube, rope maxing, sorry, crude word, rope maxing stats in the world, like higher than that of China. Condolences to all the future Koreans out there that have to suffer the consequences of, I would say, your society's choices.
Yeah,
All the
that's
young
bad.
Koreans were, you know, who've been raised in this highly competitive society. It's unfortunate, right? Because if your purpose is to only wake up, eat, and then go to work and come back home and study and work and eat and sleep and repeat every single day, like, that is not normal. The human mammal was not meant to do that every single day. That is just, that leads to what we now call rope maxing.
According to the OECD,
You know, not that it's tied to the rope maxing like he said. This reminds me kind of a little bit of the last video we watched, on the last stream we had of this. We watched she was like 23 years old, but she was a convenience store manager, you know, like a 7-Eleven or wherever, you know, that they have in whatever they have in South Korea. She was there for 12 hours, had a 12-hour shift from like the middle of the night all the way till it was barely the afternoon. And she was, you know, putting things stocked. She was, you know, just getting things ready for the morning. There was a delivery. that was coming, so they had to shock the shelves. They had to stock the shelves, you know, and then she was just going, you know, barely had like time to eat, right? And then, you know, eventually the customers came in, there was all this upkeep, you know, and then eventually her shift was over, and then she does it all again the next day. It's crazy, right? And at 23 years old, it's impressive. Daigo on a React stream? What? At this time? At this hour? That's crazy. Good to see you, Daigo. Hope you're doing well. Oh, man. Now it's a party. Anyways, yeah, it's sad, you know, especially with that culture, to just have that sort of like overworked population.
Korea ranks number 4 in hours worked per year, reaching close to 1,900
4.
hours. But this is just what is documented. Their work culture is also extremely strict,
sure it
which
is.
leads their working hours off the clock to rise to times larger
Yeah.
than reported.
In Korea, leaving work on time can actually feel awkward.
What?
There's a word for it. Kar, knife, 퇴근, getting off work, means leaving work exactly on time. But here's the problem. In some workplaces, if you do kartue, people might look at you like, why are you leaving already?
It's not too much of a difference.
Bro, Korea's literally playing
Oh
life
my
at, like,
God.
a high elo.
Could you imagine if you were like in school, and as soon as the bell rang, people were like getting ready to leave or whatever, and the teacher's like, wait, where are you going? Where are you going? Why are you leaving? And there's been a few moments like that, you know, if the teacher's like in the middle of a lecture or whatever. But if it was just so often, right, where you were just inclined to just stay in the class longer than you should, right? It'd be, I don't know. I think that'd be quite a burden. It is an interesting country, you know? I mean, you would think that, like, it's so happy, joyful, right? But no, it's not always like that. Yeah. Yeah. I think most people think like, oh, K-pop when they think of South Korea. But yeah, it's not entirely perfect.
They're playing in what's an Overwatch, like Diamond Note, like Masters level elo.
Gangnam
in fact,
Style.
So bad in Korea, globally, they're like in the top 500 on life.
Huntrix.
Basically the tippity top of competitiveness. I also learned in Korea, if you're a kid, that like there are 3 colleges that you want to get into, and if you don't get into those colleges,
TT Star.
apparently you're doomed to a life of loserdom. That's how serious it is over there.
It's actually in the U.S. We're behind South Korea in
You didn't get into school, kid. You didn't get accepted into the school, kid. What? You're such a fucking loser. You get felted, kid. Get fucking felted.
Felted, bitch. Felted.
You're done, kid. You're done. Get out of my sight. Man. That's tough. That's really tough. Intriguing South Korea would just mainly be the technology? I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's one thing that they excel in, right?
Hours worked by roughly 70 hours, but most Americans, or you know what, most workers,
Like computers, computing,
can attest to always being
CPUs.
available to work outside of working hours. Whether it's a Microsoft Teams thing late at night from your manager, or a project with an unrealistic deadline, you're likely going to be thinking about work or
A first
doing
world
work very
Asian
often
country.
outside of working hours.
Meaning there's no mental deload.
That's-
This is why people are on. Did you know?
That's one way to put it.
Stats. Americans right now in America are the highest amount of drug
I've never
usage,
been
I believe,
there, but
clinically. And this is taking into account both legal
I don't
and
know.
illegal drugs here. As you can see, United States tops out at number 1
Maybe
for
I could take a trip.
3,815 per 100,000 people.
What is this? Highest rates of drug use according to World Population Review. 3,815 per 100,000 people. Oh my god. You know, I'm not gonna say it, okay? I know there's moments where I get political on these streams, just a few times. But I'm not gonna go there. All I'm gonna say is, somehow, in some way, I'm not surprised. That's bad, though. That's bad. And Canada's only second? Such a shame.
So yeah, we are heavily drug dependent in this country, which is horrible. And I know that stat is not shocking to
Rare
anyone, but
Canadian W.
I gotta say, it just goes to show you the amount of mental illness we're dealing with. Like, that is stemming from not only the food we eat and the work we do, but just overall our decline in mental health, because we don't have the chance. A lot of people don't have the luxury to deload, to mentally deload. Physically, you need rest, but mentally as well, it's taxing if you're constantly thinking about work on Monday, genuinely speaking.
And when your entire life revolves around work, which I would argue is the case for most people right now with the job, what time do you have to think about having and raising kids? In the United States, by the late 1800s, it's estimated that around 18% of children between the ages of 10 and 15 were part of the labor force, working in factories, mines,
They made
farms.
that, and that became illegal for obvious reasons. We didn't want kids working.
Industrial Revolution. I remember playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate and going into the steel factories. You would see the kids just working, shoveling coal, or, you know, walking around lugging all of these boxes and stuff. It's crazy.
Economic asset. Census data from the early 20th century shows that around 70% of children aged 10 to 15 were employed in agriculture, often within their own family household.
That's a crazy stat, but again, he said
You know,
often within their own family household.
those were the
so
times.
You were working for your family, right? You weren't working for some gray-mattered people in suits who are just faceless, right? You're working for people.
Yeah,
within a
you
community
were
of
working
which
with the
you're
community.
familiar with. And when you're
Yeah.
working with people you're familiar with, there's that satisfaction that, hey, at least I'm working for my community.
It
I'm
wasn't
putting
there.
in long hours for the
Corporations back then weren't necessarily as prominent. You know, definitely not as prominent as they are now. But you know, they didn't necessarily have like a huge presence then, right? It was all about like the people around you, the community, the family, the friends, right? The common folk. That's what it was all about. Even though the labor was much harsher, but hey, there was a silver lining there, I suppose.
This is for my wife, my kids, my neighbor, his dog, you know, to keep society functioning. Now we're just like a whole bunch of random strangers in big cities who are only like glued together through
Drones.
Amazon deliveries, the chase of money, and easy access to matcha lattes. I'm not gonna lie. Strip all that away and watch how everybody starts to eat each other. Not literally, but I'm saying people are not as united as you think they are.
Having more children was quite literally an investment, but today that dynamic has completely flipped.
Exactly. Now it's a liability. Instead of an asset, it's a liability.
The
Unfortunately,
liability.
we love kids. You know, people want to have babies. Of course, that's the natural inclination of the human mammal, but we can't afford it. We're not going to plunge ourselves into further poverty just because we feel like society wants us to, I don't know, keep the birth rate up. Like, we're not cows in a factory. That's not how that works. And a lot of corporate suits want us to be like that. And Gen Z's not falling for it. And now for the dating
I've also
issue.
talked about this ongoing dating crisis that's been happening here in America as a result of many different factors.
Absolutely.
Social media paints perfected portrayals of relationships that skew people's perception of what a healthy relationship should look like. Influencers give conflicting advice about how to attract a partner and what red and green flags to look out for, which sets unrealistically high expectations about how an imperfect human should behave in a relationship.
By the way, again, when it comes to dating, social media literally destroyed this generation. People who feel like they have endless options will
Oh man, this image right here, I don't think about it often, but anytime the concept of how dating has changed or has diminished in today, I do think about this image or this meme right here. Just Kanye in the middle, you know, people who just want to date to marry, right? The standard, the tradition. And now here's all this sort of bullshit we have right here, you know, commitment issues, right? What situationships? That's what I was looking for. Sneaky links, right? You know, having like more than one person that you have in your on your list. Yeah, situationships, still attached to your ex. Oh my god, don't even get me started on this one. This one right here actually pisses me off. And it more has to do with like it's not personal, but I've seen where this has led to a problem, especially when it could have just been avoided altogether. This one right here easily infuriates me. Phases, I think this is blurred out. I think this says sex phases. Okay, yeah. Open relationships, yeah. And I think a few others as well, but you know, yeah. Truly is some troubling times here.
Be satisfied. The urge to compare and contrast your relationship to another relationship has quite literally destroyed the dating market in many ways that I can't describe here. But for those who know, you know, the grass is greener mentality is destroying so many relationships, and it's making people feel as though that they have endless options and unlimited time, of which they do not. They really don't, and it's quite tragic.
Women have more financial autonomy, which can make them more selective, and at the same time, many men are struggling to adapt to these shifts. Most of this applies to other developed countries as well, but in Korea, women have taken their dissatisfaction with men a step further through something called the 4B
movement.
4B movement in Korea. I don't know what 4B specifically means, but I know it's like an extreme.
This was such a thing like early last year. I don't know if you remember, but like, oh my god, where so many women here in the States wanted to like carry this over. And was there ever anything, you know, big or major that happened? No. No, there was not. Oh, man. Anyways, carry on.
Feminist movement of South
4B
Korea.
Movement is a feminist response to the overwhelming cultural pressures and economic disparities in South Korea. According to the OECD, South Korea has the largest gender wage gap among developed countries, with women earning roughly 40% less than men on average. And beyond wages, women are still expected to take on the majority of childcare and domestic responsibilities, even when working full-time.
See, that's what I don't like. I don't know about Korea's laws here in America. Obviously, a wage gap based off of gender is quite literally federally illegal. You can get your whole entire company and corporation destroyed. So therefore,
Civil Rights Act.
Thing here, and typically, in general, just based off of stats, men make more because they simply work more hours and they don't take off time to, you know, if they're pregnant or, you know, men don't. Even if men are sick, they'll work through that shit. Men don't take off as much as women do for sick leave and all these other things. Or vacation days, right? Men are just, hey, that's what men do. But listen, if there is a genuine like gender pay gap in Korea on top of women being kind of urged to have kids, like that's going to destroy anybody. That's not fair.
give birth, there are some of the companies that give penalties to women because they need to constantly think about their kids, take care of the kids. They will not be able to, focus on their work.
Korean women can see the kinds of freedoms and opportunities that are expanding for women in other parts of the world, and they're growing.
Is there a
increasingly
word
frustrated.
for, like, nationalism, but in a more traditional sense? Is there a term for that? Where you're like more like extreme for like carrying out social norms, family traditional qualities, in the same way somebody is nationalistic? Is there a word for that? I don't know.
With what feels like a rigid and outdated system.
By the way, if you're penalizing people, women, or even men, because they want to take off time to raise their children, to actually be there for the birth of their child, or the first or 2 months of, child care needed, right? Even if they can't afford to completely take off, there needs to be some type of implementation or subsidies from the federal government allowing people to take time off to actually have kids. Otherwise, we're going to have a birth
What are
crisis.
we doing?
We're going to be extinct, based off of this trajectory. Like, it's natural. Like, logically, there's not going to be enough people to basically keep the economy up if kids don't come into the world. I mean, this seems like a serious problem. I think the government would want to tackle, no?
The name of the movement comes from the Korean prefix B, meaning no. The 4 Bs represent what participants are rejecting. Bichulsan, meaning no childbirth, Biona, meaning no dating men, Bihon,
No
meaning
dating
marriage,
men.
and Biseksu,
Wow.
meaning no sex.
Well,
the no childbirth thing, that's pretty extreme. Actually, no. No. I forget. This is a feminist movement. The no dating men. This one right here. Like, that's one thing. Okay? And no marriage, yeah, sure. But no sex? No childbirth? Man. That's deep.
There you go, guys and gals. That's crazy, but hey, if everything that I heard in this video is true, I can't blame him. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Now, when we shift the focus
In
to
a
men,
way,
I mentioned this briefly,
sure.
but men seem to be having a tough time
In some
adapting to
way.
this new world.
Absolutely.
If women are more selective,
Knowing
it could
how
make
this world
the
is
average
moving.
guy feel like he's never going to be exceptional enough to attract the sort of woman that he could in the past. And from what I've observed, if the world isn't opening up enough opportunities for the average guy to do that, then many will resort to anger or isolation.
Absolutely, and that's what a lot of young men are resorting to: isolation, checking out of society, doing
Yeah.
the bare minimum because they feel like society is not rewarding them for any type of effort. And this goes across the board, but especially for young men in this day and age where men are treated as superfluous and or disposable. What's the point? If you feel as though that you're just cannon fodder for a war, or a work slave at an Amazon warehouse, and you feel like
At
you can't get
Amazon.
a wife ever or a girlfriend, there's no possibility of you ever getting a family because the dating market is more competitive than ever before. Or there are women are selecting for a specific type of man that you quite literally do not fit into the criteria of, and
You're not
always
in the
treated
mold.
as the second, third, fourth option in everything, in jobs and dating and family, in society, everything. All of your interests just feel like it's on the back burner or just completely disregarded. I can understand why the average Gen Z young man or young man or man in general may feel like this.
Now men have men going their own way, which is a movement in response to feminist movements like the 4B movement, where men swear to never marry a girl because of how modernity has changed women. We also have a lot of dudes who are scared of how they'll be perceived if they go up to a woman and ask them out,
Right.
and try to pursue them and try to show
Right.
interest in them because of other stories that have been shared online
Mhm.
of other men who have done this and
Mhm.
have done it poorly,
Yep.
or they've just been reported to have done it poorly, and it kind of makes men feel a little bit uncertain as to whether the good thing to do.
So this is called
Absolutely. I'm not gonna get too deep into this, but what I can tell you is that based on my own experience, okay, growing up, I know that whenever you face rejection, and I'm not just talking about this like as a male, you know, like, because rejection can go, it's bilateral, you know, it can occur like from both men and women, but upon confessing or wanting to try and form a relationship with someone and then having been rejected, it's not just the no, the rejection itself that gets you startled or has you concerned. It's the sort of perception that comes afterward, right? And based off of like how they see you, you know? And I'm not going to get too deep into it because, you know, it's a whole other conversation. You know, I might bring it up on stream, I might not, I don't know. But yeah, that's my experience. That's what I've, you know, learned from it.
Approach anxiety, and yeah, in this prevalence of modern society filming people and putting them on the internet to clown them, I can understand nobody wants to end up on TikTok, obviously. If you approach a woman, which is normal, and you're
did you guys hear about that fitness dude who got dumped on by his girlfriend? And because okay, so he's like 5, I don't know, he's short, but so is his girlfriend. And so he was basically kind of like this positive motivator, right? Trying to spread like a good message towards like young men and, you know, trying to stay fit, this and that, right? They had a good thing going, right? After all that popularity he had, the girl left, and then she decided to date another guy who was into exercise and fitness. And the dude's like a whole foot taller than him. And she's just bragging about it. Bragging. Like, that's so diabolical. That's so mean. Like, that's the kind of stuff this dude is talking about. You know, people like it's not even like it doesn't even have to be rejection at that point. Like, even like when you're in a relationship and then when it gets compromised and somebody's like does something that throws it off and it ends, people like drag on you for that. Like, there's never like a way out entirely. It's so weird. Well, it's not weird, it's just bizarre. It really is. Fenrir, yeah. Yes, please. I would like to see what you got today. I'm sure it's really cool. Something nice.
Or your second time, or you're just trying to practice, and somebody pulls out an iPhone, a friend or the girl herself starts clowning you for whatever reason, and she films you, and you end up on the internet. This can definitely discourage people. I genuinely believe, on all fronts, dating-wise, for both men and women, on a psychological level, social media and the ease of access to post someone online clowning or making fun
Look in Discord now. Look in Discord now. Okay. All right. I'm going. Let's see. I gotta fix the screen. I should have two screens. One for or two scenes. One for the laptop, the other for the monitor. All right. Where's Discord? Here we are. Okay. What did we get? Oh, man. Okay. Master grade crossbone with the full cloth. Okay. All right. I like that. And then, oh, you got the Galahad. Oh, wow. Oh, that's gonna be sick. Nice. Nice. That's really cool. Vegeta tells story. Yeah. Yeah, he's about to display his knowledge on us. Like, look. He's about to talk about the War of 1812. Oh man, that image is so timeless. Why's he got his ring on his pinky? I just noticed that.
Ancestors have done for thousands of years in different environments.
Anyways, that's awesome.
Destroyed our society in so many different ways.
That's awesome,
Death by
Rex.
1,000 cuts. Not gonna lie, women are struggling, men are struggling, men are struggling. Women
Galahad
are
is
struggling,
gonna be
young people.
pretty
I mean,
cool
the
to
entire
build.
Society is just at this point. And Gen Z, we don't want to perpetuate this at all. So a lot of people are checking out in different ways.
And we haven't even really talked about the overall sentiment that young people have about the direction that the world is heading. Of course, social media tends to amplify.
It tells the
negative
story
events and
about
tragedy while
oh,
downplaying
Planet
positive
Vegeta.
developments, which can make the world feel worse than it actually
Yeah,
is.
I guess he could.
And I don't doubt that perception, rather than objective reality, influences
What it was like living
people's
on there.
decision to not have kids. But
What his
also,
father
like,
was
the
doing.
world is objectively not too awesome right now.
You think people having to compete with, AI at this point in time, not only like the entire world for a job here in their own country, but AI
Yeah.
on top of that is
Will
crazy.
adapt. It makes sense
Yep.
that Gen Z might be asking themselves, is this really a world I want to bring a kid in on top of everything else we've already discussed? So you
True.
And the answer to that is a big fat effing no.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Obviously, air all your opinions down below in the comment section. Shout out to Cole Hastings. Gen Z's baby bust, obvious logical conclusion of a society that's fractured not only socially, spiritually, religiously, politically, but also economically. Yeah, as someone here said in the top comment, can't have generational trauma if there's no next generation to
I can't even talk.
traumatize. I mean, yeah.
What the dog
that's pretty
doing?
much the logic here. Catch you guys in the next one.
According to the
Man. Such a shame. I mean, really, like, the bottom line is you just have to take a look around and ask yourself, what is it that I want to really do, like, in my life? Given that, this is how things are in society. This is, like, the way things are here. And is the option of wanting to raise a family on the table? Like when I was a kid, even when I was a teenager, I never thought that would even be like up for debate, like as a question. Especially because, we've gone through things like, the Depression and a few number of recessions, but it's tough. It's really tough. This is one I want to watch, but it is getting late. These streams, when I do a react stream, they don't usually take long. They're not as long as like building Gunpla or or playing some kind of game. But I want to end this on a positive note. Something to watch and, you know, have a good message. Trying to find one that isn't like long. We were watching this one. I remember us watching that one a long time ago. But let's see. If HR was run by dudes. Okay, if I can't find anything else that's appealing or that catches my eye, we'll just let's see. You know what? Sure, level 1 to level 100 Lego builder. Let's go. Let's go. I'm feeling it.
Today I'm gonna compare cheap and basic Lego builds with the biggest, most expensive
If I can pause the
versions of them.
video, oh my god.
To fake sets which look like real Lego.
Okay, thank you. Let's check out the...
Let's go. Let's begin with this first Lego build, which is this basic Lego roller coaster. There's a line for people to wait, and this guy which is operating the ride. The roller
I want to pause the video.
I built the actual track using these bricks that guide the car. And the scariest part of the entire ride is this one bump.
Okay. Alright, thank you. See, my laptop, this is when you need to know. This is when you know I need an upgrade. I've had this laptop for way too long. Let's see, what do we have here? What you got there, Fenrir? Ooh! Here, let's see that. Let's switch over. Let's switch over here. Oh man. That's the Fire Lord? Man, look at the horns. Look at that. I like the teal, clear pieces. Those go pretty good with the white and silver. You know, you got the gold aesthetics going on here as well. Man. Okay. All right. I like it. I like it. You know, I can do with the gold eyes. You know, gold eyes are fine. Oh, we got ads. Oh, fuck. Oh, man. Oh, man. Here, I'm gonna wait for you. I'm gonna wait for you, Lupus. I'll wait for you. I'm gonna wait. As I try to set things up. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even, like, looking at it, like, just, as is, it looks good. I didn't even think there would be, like, decals included. And they're done, okay. As they're done. Yeah, we, I announced this last week. We hit, we just reached affiliate, so some things have kind of changed around here. I need to figure out how ads work. I have a snooze ads option, but I don't know how to use it because it's grayed out. So I don't know. It's weird. Things are kind of weird for right now, but you know, as long as, you know, we're still just hanging out together, just on the streams, you know, having fun. That's all that matters. That's all that matters to me. Anyways, what's this guy doing?
Today, I'm gonna compare tiny, cheap, and basic Lego builds with the biggest, most expensive, and complex versions of them. From real Lego...
Oh, shoot.
Like real Lego. So,
there we go.
Anyway, let's go. Let's begin with this first Lego build, which is this basic Lego roller coaster. There's a line for people to wait.
Lego roller coaster.
The ride. The roller coaster can fit one
Yeah.
person at a time, and I built the actual track using these bricks that guide the car.
Lego's pretty dope.
The scariest part of the entire ride is this one bump. Wow, I think
for the most part, at least.
Could do this ride. So I then bought the biggest, most expensive Lego roller coaster possible. It
Oh
costs
shoot!
$400, and it's made from almost
400, 4,000.
Lego roller coaster you can possibly buy because
bro, that reminds me of like Connects. If you remember that.
Go straight down. And if you thought that was bad, there's even 2 loops at the bottom. You can't wear hats or eat food on this ride. Also, this kid is not tall enough. First, the passengers are loaded onto the ride at this platform. Then when you crank this gear, they're lifted into the air and transported to the top, where they're about to experience the scariest ride of their life.
There they go. Whee!
Wow, I love roller coasters, but even I don't think I could do this. So comment if you think you could.
Oh my god.
This build is a Lego
Dude,
civilization, and it's this
I remember when I had gone to Six Flags for the first time. That got me over my fear of roller coasters. And ever since then, I enjoy roller coasters. You got a Ninjago set? Man. Gosh. I wish when I was growing up I was still into Ninjago. Like, I used to watch the show, probably, I think it was up until the finale with the Great Devourer, but yeah, I mean, Ninjago is cool. I should rewatch the show and then continue on from like where I left off. Yeah. You were 15? Wow. For me, I think I was probably 11 or 12. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I would be down to watch to like binge watch Ninjago. Why not? It's on Netflix, right? Oh, I muted it by accident.
To grow food. This guy who's crafting tools.
The Green Ninja, Lloyd.
Tents, including this one with a
yeah.
bed inside. Can you guys tell me where the nearest Starbucks is?
Oh, I should show you.
Made from 5,000 pieces, and it's this futuristic.
I don't know if you saw the Lego minifigures unboxing streams, Lupus, but you know how there's the Lego minifigure series, and now we're in like series 29, right? I got the Green Ninja. Yeah, I got Lloyd. I could show it to you. I was thinking about because it's been such a while since I had the minifigures on stream. Not since I unboxed the I unboxed them all, but yeah, and I could definitely show you. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have them. I don't know, maybe in like Probably for like the next Gunpla build, whenever that is. Hopefully that's that would be soon, but again, I've been trying to just save up my money
like this lobster soup restaurant, this jewelry
for these
store,
last
its
couple
very
of
own
weeks.
hotel, and it even has a literal Lego store. So basically, the Lego people are shopping for their own kind. It even has its own train which transports people around the city, AI robots, and its own theme park with a Ferris wheel. This is probably the most complicated Lego build I've ever looked at. Also,
that looks so confusing.
This next Lego build is a Lego fortress, and it's this small toilet paper fort you'd find on aisle 16 at Walmart. I built this rack with merchandise, and to build the toilet paper, I used these round white bricks. But this next build is a giant pirate fortress made from 3,000 pieces. And it's actually a fake Lego set I bought off Temu for $100. Outside the fortress, you'll find a secret room with buried treasure inside, and a small prison to trap people. The actual fortress...
This looks like, I'm not exaggerating, this looks like an area in this one Fortnite map. This like one Fortnite custom map that I used to play on. It was like this pirate cove or whatever, and you had to like explore this island and do all these quests, do some storylines and stuff, level up and upgrade, so then you can beat the Kraken. There was like a Kraken boss that you would fight. You just had to be like strong enough in order to beat it. There was an area on that map that looks exactly like this this skull cave right here. That is sick. Got Jay and Cole. Oh, the car. Oh, you mean here, let me see if I can find it. Oh shit. Hold on. Oh, why is it bringing up to this screen? Okay, hold on. I'll try looking it up here. Lego Cole car. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I'm not a robot. Oh my god. You gotta be kidding me. This I can't even see. What, this one? Are we good? Okay, we're good. We go to images here. Do you mean this one? Because I remember this right here. I never got this one. I got Kai's motorcycle. But I always wanted this one because this one could like rotate, right? The driver's seat could like spin. That's not it. Jay and Cole. Jay Blue. Oh, is it a mech? Let me see. Cole and Jay mech. Like, is there a mech? Oh. This one? I've never seen this one. It's got like a turret here or something. That's the one? Oh man. That's pretty dope. Okay. Yeah, I like these track wheels right here. Or these like traction tires. That's pretty cool. This mech is pretty dope too with the blades. Actually, you know, I saw on with the new sets that were announced. I don't know if you're. Oh man, this will take some elite ball knowledge for you to know, Lupus. But do you know what Lego Exoforce was? Have you ever heard of or know Lego Exoforce? Take your time. Take your time. Cuz this is essential. This is essential. No. Oh man. Oh man. This is this is how I know I'm getting old. Oh man. We are losing the sacred text right here. But I'm about to preserve it right now. Okay, so basically in the early 2000s, the early to mid 2000s, Lego had a line called Exoforce. And it was basically this right here. It was like this original anime style mech line that they had. It was like mecha, but in an anime style. Like, these are what the minifigures look like, right? And then here's like the mechs, right? You had like this suit, and then you had this one, right? Everybody had kind of like the colorful hair. Here's another one. And then you had here's this one with the evil robot. That's basically the storyline. It's basically humans versus robots, and they all fight each other in these giant mech suits. It was super cool. And the coolest thing about it all is that this was all original. Like, this wasn't based off of any like anime or manga IP. It was influenced by it, of course, because I mean, you can just tell from the minifigures. But you know, it was so cool that it was original, and it was just coming from Lego. Now, now we have like these mechs coming out like this, and this reminds me a whole lot of Exoforce. Like a new, like modern take on Exoforce, but it's Ninjago. You know, like this is, I guess, Jay's mech, right? Like, or is it Nia's? I don't know. I know Nia has a blue look now. Nia actually used to pilot a mech, but I guess she then learned some kind of spinjitzu. I know Kai has one. Like, if I go Lego Ninjago mechs, or if I can hit enter. Oh man, look at this one. Like this one right here. I think this is, yeah, this is supposed to be Lloyd's. That's really cool. It's got like the shield, the swords, the kind of a samurai look to it. And then here's Kai's. Oh man. This is making me giddy. This one's a little bit more simple. I think this is supposed to be Zane's. I don't think they have one as big as these two for Zane. But Yeah, I saw those like maybe about a month ago, and it just reminded me of Exoforce. It's so cool, man. If you ever want to know about the early 2000s, like what Lego was like in the early 2000s, you could always hit me up. All right, I'd be willing to talk your ear off. Like, I could talk all day about, you know, Exoforce, Castle, what else was there? Dino, Dino Hunters, I think they were called. And then you had Agents, Space Police, Power Miners, Bionicle. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mars Mission. Batman. we could go all day.
Is built into this cliff and protected by these spikes. And to enter, there's a giant skull on the front that
those were
actually
good times.
and creates an opening to enter. It also looks like a giant mouth. The fortress even opens up to reveal the inside. So here you'll find a giant waterfall and several cannons which protect
I want those times to come back.
Round bricks. Okay, for being a fake Lego set, honestly, this passes. Okay, this next basic Lego build is this small concert. There's a stage to perform, these speakers to blast music, and the only person who bought tickets is this one random guy.
When the Green Ninja was possessed by a ghost? That sounds familiar, but I don't necessarily remember the episode. Something about the ghost sounds familiar.
Wow, you could not pay me to go.
It's been a while.
But now we're gonna compare that to this next build, which is a top secret club made from 2,000 pieces where only the best, most famous artists of Lego City perform. And the only way to get in is if you either pay your whole life savings plus tip, or you have
plus
10,000
tip
followers on Instagram. Only 50? Security, please escort this guy. Once
Get him out of
you'll
here.
Find a stage where the music is performed, and you stand on this dance floor, which actually lights up when you flip this switch. And when you wiggle this piece, the people on it actually start dancing.
Season 5 or 6?
Okay, this next basic build is a tiny Lego treehouse. There's a ladder to get up to the top, and inside you'll find a tiny bed to sleep. But this next Lego build is a giant.
You know, maybe I saw it from a clip online.
And somewhere a rich, famous person.
That could be why. It sounds familiar.
The house is so big it has 3 separate levels. So on the first level, there's
This is looking like it's from GTA.
and inside is this kitchen and dining room. On the second level, you'll find
Michael
this
DeSantis,
and this part of the house which slides out, and
lives
inside
here.
You'll find this small bedroom. And on the third final floor, there's this bathtub full of money, this small office, and this balcony.
This is the Wolf of Wall Street.
Overlook all the poor neighbors we have. Wow, this guy's actually living the premium subscription version of life. This
Ballin'.
next build is a small Lego boat. It's made from a
boat.
single piece, which means it can actually float. Hardly though. But the best part is I built this working Lego motor in the back using this rubber band. Basically, you twist this gear until it gets really tight. Then when you let go, it spins this propeller. Why did it go backwards?
Does it?
Oh, because I put the propeller on wrong.
No, no, it's not going. It's not gonna work.
Compare that to this giant sailboat.
Oh,
made from
shit.
almost 2,000 pieces. The actual sails are made from these single cloth pieces. It comes
Ballin',
with this
ballin'. Cash money, boats and hoes. Ballin', ballin'.
This living room with the couch, this kitchen, and there's even a small bathroom.
Boats and hoes. Boats and hoes.
Well, at least we have the life raft. Okay, this next Lego build is very special because it's actually an animal, and it's this Lego elephant. It has studs on its back so someone can ride it, these large horns to defend against predators, and you can even attach things to its nose. But now we're gonna compare that to the biggest Lego elephant I could find, which is an official Lego set.
That's a
made from
fucking
1,000
war.
pieces. It has
That's a fucking war elephant from Berserk. Like, what? You got the cannons, you got the king on top. Bro, like, Kentaro Miura drew these. Like, you cannot tell me that, like, let me even see if I can look this up. Berserk War Elephants, or War Elephant. It does look cool. I don't even know if, like, oh, okay, yeah, they knew what I was talking about. Look at this. Like, look at that. You know? Like, you cannot tell me that this right here does not have, like, the same aura as this. Whole other level. Whole, like, or, like, same level, sorry, same level. Or, oh shit, I didn't mean to open Steam. Let me get that tab small. Where's there it is. Yeah, man. Super cool. Super cool elephant.
Body, like 2 on its nose and 2 above its head that can shoot 6 bullets at a time. It's also dragging a chariot behind with a prisoner inside, and riding it is
Prisoner pig.
Emperor, which is sitting on this throne.
Emperor elephant on War Elephant.
Which then turns into this giant
fuck.
boat. So to put this elephant to the test, let's see if it can defend against an army of superheroes.
Bro. The elephant's too powerful.
I could feel the aura from 3 clicks away. The next build on our list is this tiny Lego car. It can fit a single minifig, and to make it a little sporty, I added
Little
this
mini
giant
coupe.
spoiler on the back. Okay, ready? Go. But now we're gonna compare that to this next car, which is this giant
Bugatti.
supercar that I bought off Amazon, made from fake knockoff Lego. But what makes this thing special
Oh,
is it's
fuck.
actually an RC car, and it's controlled by this remote. Okay, let's see if it works.
What?
Okay, that thing is way faster than I thought. Wow, for a knockoff, I'm actually pretty impressed. It literally drives like a real RC car. And for the
Oh, man.
Lego build, it's the
No. I think, oh gosh. Actually, wait. They haven't yet. They haven't done the Megazord yet, Lupus. They did Voltron, but they haven't done the Megazord. Oh man, because the Megazord has the elephant as the shield. Oh my god. Oh my god, that would be... I think I'd be bankrupt. I think I would. If they came out with a Lego Megazord. Yeah.
This tank made from 15 pieces. It comes with this tiny gun on top that rotates. Basically, you load this tiny piece into this brick, and it actually shoots when you push on it from the back. So let's test how powerful it is on a minifig. But now we're gonna compare that to this final biggest Lego build, which is made from almost 4,000 pieces, and it's
Holy
this massive
fuck.
tank made from fake Lego pieces.
Dude.
Look how big this is compared to
That's a
minifig.
super
But what makes
scorpion
this thing
right there.
special is it actually works using this remote. Let's go, it actually works. Next time we go to war, we should use this. Let's see if we
That's
can run
fucking
over this
dope.
guy.
Run him over.
It even has 2 working guns on the front that you load these tiny bricks into. So to put this tank to the test, I built this small obstacle course outside that we're gonna see if it can complete. So I added soldiers, this pile of debris, and I even built this giant wall we're gonna see if it can plow through. So let's test it and see if it can complete the course.
Get him!
Nice, the military should start taking notes. So comment your favorite build, subscribe, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Dude. Man. I want that tank. I want that car and I want that tank. That's awesome. And the elephant. I can't forget the elephant. Alright. We need to know where that elephant came from. You know, it dawned on me. Aside from the Lego minifigures, we've never actually built like a Lego set on stream. And I've kind of always wanted to, if I'm being honest. But I just never found one that I wanted to, you know, build. Or one that I did want to build, but I just could never afford. Oh, man. But, you know, hopefully one of these days, right? Because, you know, like, don't get me wrong. I still enjoy, like, love building, you know, the Gunpla kits with you guys. But, you know, I also want to, like, add in some variety whenever we do, you know, any of these kind of, like, on-hand IRL kind of streams, you know? But anyways, that's gonna be it for the stream, guys. So here's the deal. So tomorrow morning, afternoon-ish, we're gonna be continuing on with Persona 4 Golden. Alright. I was thinking of wanting to do the monster tier list with you guys, the Zero Sugar monster tier list, but I also want to go to the gym tomorrow as well, so I don't think we're necessarily going to have time, because I still need to pick up a few more cans, and then we can do the review, but the review will probably have to be sometime next week, because this Friday and weekend I'll be out of town, so I won't be back until Sunday. And then I don't know if we'll be streaming as soon as I get back, but on Monday for sure, Monday of next week, I'll be streaming again. So if anything, I think next Tuesday will have to be the Zero Sugar monster tier list. All right, so that'll probably be it. But like I said, tomorrow morning, afternoon, Persona 4 Golden, and then I'm off Wednesday, and last stream of the week will be Thursday. I don't know what we're gonna do exactly. I don't even know if I want to go into work on Thursday, to be honest with you guys. Like, I don't really have like an excuse to, but God, I'm only volunteering there, you know. I'm not on nobody's payroll, right? I'm not on a fixed schedule or anything. But I don't know. Like, we'll see. But anyways, thank you everybody who tuned in though today. You've been a wonderful audience, especially for a React stream. You know, I definitely appreciate you all for coming by. You know, I'm grateful for that. You know, thank you. And yeah, thanks for being here. I'll see you all on the next one. All right. So y'all go ahead and have a good rest of your day or night. I don't know. And yeah, I'll see you next time, guys. All right. So thanks again. I'll see you guys later. All right. Peace out.